Hello, everybody. Good morning. We are live. It is Thursday, June 18th, 2026, and we have a lot to talk about today. So, yesterday we talked about the, in my opinion, unconstitutional search warrant that was issued by BYU Law School graduate Judge Roger W. Griffin. We talked about the requirements of the United States Constitution, written about 300 or 250 years ago, whatever it is. The requirements of a search warrant, what has to be what has to be present in the application for a search warrant. And this is all because, in general, the police are not allowed to just bust up into the house that you're staying at or living in. They are not allowed to do a raid. They are not allowed to search through your stuff. They are absolutely not. They are not allowed to force you to answer their questions, except, there's always this exception. So, except what? Well, the United States Supreme Court has interpreted the Constitution, many in many different iterations throughout the years, decades, centuries. And what they have pretty much said is, like, unless somebody's life is in danger, or some very serious evidence of some very serious crimes is going to be destroyed instantly, you can't just bust up in there without a warrant. So you got to get a warrant. We talked about the warrant for specifically, really, I said this many times yesterday. The reason that I got into this case, the reason that I said, okay, fine, I'll look at the brick and the minifig. Okay, I'll look over that way. The reason is because of the American Fork Police Department. Not only their, in my opinion, unconstitutional raid, but then that weird chief that came out and he was like, Sheldon Norcross tried to manipulate the cell phone. Like, all of the corruption and all of the tyranny that happened at that specific fork, no pun intended, in the road of the American Fork Police Department. That is really where I was like, oh, okay, you have my attention. I'm coming in. So yesterday, sorry, I'm like trying to get it all out because I don't want to spend too much time on this recap, but I do want to kind of explain where we're going and why. So, looking at my web, I get distracted. I have monitors. It's like command center here. I got to take tomorrow off so I can clean this office, y'all. It's been too much. It's been too much going on. Uh, yeah, the cat was so cute. The cat, yes, if you missed it yesterday, the cat won, star of the video or whatever. Yes, exactly. KK Westbury, exactly. The warrant itself was vague. It did not list which particular Legos were stolen. There was no victim statement. There was no underlying crime, really. He tried cockroach. I was calling him cockroach. And the reason I'm calling him cockroach is because many, many days ago, it might have been the week before last at this point, I said when you start shining a flashlight in a dark room, the cockroaches scurry and scatter. And I also like to give people nicknames in my investigations, my stories, my coverage, because it helps people to remember who I'm talking about. So when I say cockroach, I'm always talking about that one cop. So anyway, okay, so we're talking about the warrant. We're talking about the actual raid. We watched some body camera footage. I did go and find some other different body camera footage. I don't know if we're going to watch it today or not, but there was something very important about the warrant itself that got cut off. I would say one of the most important sentences in the entire search warrant yesterday when we went over it. I had a copy of the search warrant that just cut that part off. Like the last 3 lines or whatever, or two and a half lines or so of the warrant. So I want to circle back to read that part. But before I do that, I want to say something important. I think it's very important because, there's a lot of litigation. There's a lot of litigation going on right now, and there's a lot of tyranny and corruption. There's a lot of the government, the state, acting in a way to silence people. And so I'll be very, very clear about my intentions and why I'm doing this. I have already been very clear. And I know a lot of people, not a lot, but a few of y'all, you would rather me just cut to the chase and get to the point. Girl, me and you both. Me and you both. I don't like living in a nanny state. I don't like living in an open air clown prison. I don't like it. That's why it's like, I'm ready to go when it's time for me to get out of here. But while I'm here, I'm going to be doing the best I can. I don't like tyranny and I don't like corruption. I don't like it. The reason I went to law school in the very first place ever, the first time I ever remember wanting to be a lawyer was because I come from a very low income, poor, uneducated family, and we would be getting beat up on by the powers that be, and there was just nothing we could do about it. And I always thought, if I could just learn the law, then they couldn't do this to us, or then I would have a fighting chance. Like, that was the first times I ever remember wanting to be a lawyer. And then I finally, went to LSU, go Tigers. First person in my family to go to college. And then, it took me years to study for the LSAT. I got into Ivy League law school, went to Ivy League law school. My dad died during my first year of law school. A lot of people that are new here, they don't know that. My dad actually overdosed on drugs. That's how he died. So, don't judge a book by its cover. Okay. So I've had a hard life. I've had a rough go at it. Not as hard as many people, and I'm not trying to play the I had a hard life Olympics, but I'm just trying to provide a little bit of context here from like what my perspective is. I come from a place and a background where I thought if you just learn the law, then you know the law and you can defend yourself in a situation. As I went through law school, and especially after I graduated from law school and started working as a lawyer, I realized there's just so much corruption. Like, basically the law firm just like wanted me to lie or wanted me to not tell the truth about something. And that just what didn't seem fair to me. And so that's when I really like started to question my beliefs about like, can we just trust that because the government's doing something or because a police department is doing something that it's necessarily the right thing? Of course not. And now, I mean, years and years and years later, of course not. We have to make sure that the cops are telling the truth. We, the people, have to, because the cops are corrupt in many places. Now, are they all corrupt? Of course not. If they were all corrupt and if no cops ever did their jobs right, we would be in a much worse clown prison that we're in right now. But I definitely now know that you just can't take it for face value. You just can't just take it for simple face value that because a cop wrote something or said something, it's true. In fact, and indeed, they're legally allowed to lie to us. Okay. So there's been a lot of talk lately about, in this Reckless Ben case, about privacy. Privacy. What is private? What is not? Where do you expect privacy? Where should that expectation of privacy be respected? And where it should not? In general, for example, well, not in general, for example. So back up. Scratch that. Strike that, Your Honor. For example, example A. In the RICO lawsuit against Reckless Ben, the Bricks and the Minifigs people, Ammon and Matt and Josh and Brandon and Baker Bricks, they continuously characterize this underlying dispute between Brian Mansell with his missing Legos and Crystal Law, who was the first franchise owner. The Bricks and the Minifigs lawsuit continuously characterizes that as a private dispute, a private third-party dispute, right? Continuously. That's example one. Example two, in the police body camera footage, I heard more than one police officer, but in particular, let's go with a specific example here. This is example two. I believe it was Officer Tonga snapping and punching his fist. How's Utah? We do stuff different in Utah. And then he wanted to say, let's keep civil matters civil. That is to say, this is a civil matter. That's a private dispute. Let's keep it civil and not bring it into the public domain by making it criminal. For example, yesterday, the notion of privacy, I brought it up many times because the Constitution does not allow the state or anyone acting on behalf of the state or any representative or agent of the state to interfere with your privacy, our privacy, my privacy, anyone's individual privacy. There are very strict safeguards in place to protect our privacy, our right to privacy, our expectation of privacy, our home, the curtilage around our homes. If you have to rent a hotel room, we talked about, for example, how you have a right to privacy even if you don't own your home, even if you don't own the apartment that you're staying in, you have the reasonable expectation of privacy. You have the right to privacy, and this right to privacy is also protected by the Constitution, and it is protected by most state constitutions as well. Triple, quadruple protections on this God-given right to privacy. Even if you don't own the building, even if you don't own the apartment unit. Why? Well, it would be pretty messed up if your right to privacy just went away because you're not rich enough to buy a whole house. That'd be pretty messed up. That's kind of like a caste system or something. We don't want that. So most states have adopted actually laws that forbid even a landlord or a homeowner who is legally owns the home, paying the mortgage on the home, whatever, from just barging in on a tenant. We talked about reasonable expectation of privacy in a hotel room. This has been discussed and decided by the United States Supreme Court. When you rent a hotel room, you have the right to expect privacy. So we've talked about privacy a lot over the course of this case. I agree with the American Fork Police Department. They should have let civil problems remain civil, but they did not do that. Instead, they enlisted and worked with private individuals to violate many people's rights, including a little child. I'm saying little child. I'm 35, okay? But apparently one of those kids was 18 years old was under 18 years old when the cops from the American Fork Police Department rolled up looking like it was a military tactical operation, like it was SEAL Team 4.5 out here trying to go on a recog mission and gather up a terrorist out of the side of a mountain in Iran or something. I mean, the way that they rolled up, they didn't even knock on the door and say, we have a search warrant. They knocked on the door with guns in hand, with fingers on triggers. One of them, I kept saying a semi-automatic weapon. Thank you to, I think his name's Michael. Thank you whoever emailed me. And a good point. That was not a semi-automatic weapon. That was an automatic weapon. Good point. So we're talking about privacy, right? We're talking about Dan McNeff, the father. Dan McNeff, the father of the owners of Bricks and Minifigs, acting like, and he may be telling the truth. I do not encourage anybody to go over there and do anything to Dan. Actually, I'm telling you, and I have told you many times, don't even try to contact him. Don't even try to contact him. The only thing it's going to do is mess everything up because these people lie. He's acting like somebody tried to shoot out his window. He's acting like somebody was on the hill looking at him with binoculars. Maybe that's true. If that's true, I hope he, finds who's responsible because it ain't me. But I'm noticing this very unequal distribution of rights that these people in Utah, these one specific ones that we're talking about, they got people from Utah in the chat. And shout out to y'all. I know this isn't everybody in Utah. But these ones we talking about, them over there, they acting like only people get to be allowed to privacy are the police, which is like the upside down and the backwards. This is the backwards of what the truth is and how the law is actually set up. So we looked yesterday, for example, at videos like this. Wherein, hold on. I don't want to lose my spot on that other one. Oh, I found a new page here, American Fork Police Body Cam or something like that. This is,
What's the plan once we get there?
Oh, wait, I got to turn the audio on the right thing here. We looked at videos like this. This is the redacted one, by the way. This is the redacted version. Oh, it's all redacted. Aggravating. Okay. Because I really want you. We watch all these movies. We watch all this stuff. We play these video games. We see people getting, obliterated with weapons. They'll put a lady getting thrown off a bridge and it plummeting to her death on the just on Facebook and all, just without you having to click on it, it'll autoplay. But I want you to really think about, like, one of these kids is really a kid, and what it must have felt like, and what it must have been like to be any of these people, kid, adult, to not know what's even going on. You're just sitting in this house, minding your business, where you have a reasonable expectation of privacy. And you open the door and you're faced with this. A team, a squad. Look how they're pausing around the door. Like, they didn't even find a nugget of weed in that car. They didn't find. Look, he freaking covered it up. Hold on, that's fine. Go to this one. Look at this. This. I mean, imagine. This is the type of videos we looked at yesterday. He has an automatic weapon against kids with and young adults with hoodies and backpacks, rubber chickens and trophies. Okay. They had a reasonable expectation of privacy in that home. They rented it. They had a constitutionally protected, reasonable expectation of privacy. In particular, the person who rented it, which is Ben. That's period. That's the law. So we also learned yesterday that in order to get this warrant to do this unconstitutional abuse on these young adults and at least one child, the American Fork Police Department admits, Officer Cole Richardson, he admits that one of the only pieces of evidence that he relied on at all whatsoever in his oath, affidavit to the judge, was that he had, I'll say conspired, but some may, want to use more neutral language, like there's no video anymore. I took it off the screen. There's no video anymore. I just wanted to show y'all this. That's it. This is the video. We watched it yesterday. If you don't have enough video, if you haven't seen enough of this video, go watch yesterday's 5-hour live stream. One of the things we learned yesterday, or I learned, and we talked about yesterday, was that Cole Richardson had the cooperation of the owners of that home. It was just that. It was just that. It was just to remind y'all, they rolled up on them like a SWAT team. That was it. Like that. They roll up like a SWAT team. That's it. That was the whole, that's it. That's it. That's what we watched. And so imagine what it must have felt like. Imagine what it must have been like, especially if you're young, especially if you're under the age of 18. They had a reasonable expectation of privacy in this house. They did, especially Ben. So how did they get in there? Constitutionally, they're not supposed to be able to get in there unless they have a warrant. Well, he did get a warrant, and we took a look at that as well. Well, one of the most important sentences of the whole warrant, in my opinion, it was actually left out. So I want to pull the warrant and the affidavit for the warrant back up again, and I want to now share. FYI, it's not too late to get my law degree. Jameson, I got my law degree in 2020. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Okay. So this is the warrant. This is a different copy of that same warrant from Cole Richardson on the premises 891 North 150 West American Fork, gray single residence home. That's not even actually true. I wonder if they have this home zoned. It's actually like a double residence because there's like a whole apartment in the basement and then the upstairs. So I wonder if they're paying the right amount of taxes. I should report that. But if I do, it's probably like their own like Mormon like ward mate or whatever over there on the city council. So probably nothing would get done. That's what it looks like goes on in American Fork. This warrant will only go to the basement, 2012 black Chevy Malibu. They mentioned Reckless Ben, Benjamin Paul Schneider. Now, they were supposed to particularly describe the items that they were going to wanted to seize. They didn't describe any stolen merchandise, Lego merchandise. Then we read this part right here where the officer supposedly gave us some facts. He's been a cop for a whole entire year. He put the wrong date, I think, on purpose to mislead the judge. And because it ain't like it was like, oh, March 1st or, March 1, and it's like he just missed a 1. No, it's 3. There's no 3 in the date. This happened on March 11th. Dispatched on a harassment call. I mean, I went over this ad nauseum yesterday, so we don't really have to go back over it again. But this is the relevant part here. Later, he says, and it was like moments later, like minutes later, a third-party individual who is not identified. This is a problem for the warrant because you're not supposed to be able to get an arrest warrant or a search warrant based on anonymous sources. You're not supposed to be able to do that. So here's this anonymous third-party individual who, quote, shared information about how whoever they is has a bunch of YouTubers renting out their Airbnb. I mean, girl, I have so many questions. Later, it was literally minutes. A third party? So you mean the homeowner? Like, see how they put it in like a very confusing, so later, the owner of the home, so minutes later, the owner of the home told us that she or he or they have YouTubers renting out their Airbnb. This fits the nature of Ben's group. An unmarked police unit, which was a white Ford F-150, went to the address, and there was a woman sitting in the front seat. We saw that yesterday. It is known that Ben is arranging various amounts of individuals to go to the victim's residence. How is it known? We don't know. Okay. Officers contacted the homeowner. You mean the same third-party individual from up here? Okay, got it. Contacted the homeowner of the Airbnb to inquire about video footage. The homeowner was cooperative and provided video footage that displayed Benjamin walking into the basement. Okay, ooh, big crime. He walked into the basement of the Airbnb he was renting. Ooh. At 15:58, so like about 4 o'clock, the homeowner snitch narc also disclosed. Okay, so this was cut off. This was cut off yesterday. I did not see this. I got the full, not cut off document here. The homeowner also disclosed that he, okay, so up here it's they. I'm assuming that's Wendy. This is what's making me think it's Wendy Rachel, the wife, the other homeowner. We already looked up who owns the home. It's Ryan McKean Wells, Irrevocable Trust or whatever, and Wendy Rachel Williams. That's who owns the home. They're trusts. So the homeowner, one of them, also disclosed that he could hear multiple individuals inside the residence speaking about possible stolen Lego toys that they, whoever they is, had taken. So the way he's writing it here, it's like, oh yeah, like they were discussing stealing Legos, but really they were talking about the they as in the Bricks and the Minifigs people. But this raises other questions. The homeowner overheard multiple individuals inside the residence speaking about possible stolen Legos. Well, first of all, no shit. They're there in Utah to do a story about stolen Legos, you dumbass. But second of all, how on earth did this man overhear what was going on inside this residence? Did he have his ear up to the door? Did he have an unlawful security or surveillance system inside the home? Because guess what the law requires? Him to disclose that. I have a belief, based on reading the statutes in Utah, that it's actually a crime. That's criminal eavesdropping. To put your ear up to the door and try to hear what people inside are talking about. There's like protection for renters. The Supreme Court has firmly established that Ben Schneider had a reasonable expectation of privacy inside that Airbnb. Did the homeowner respect his privacy by somehow overhearing conversations about multiple stolen Legos? Did the homeowner respect Ben's privacy or anyone's privacy by working as an agent of the police? By providing video footage of Ben, at all? I mean, let's not even get into, did the homeowner respect his privacy as an Airbnb renter? I'm just talking about the law. Then, at the very end of one of these police body camera footages, we heard the officer say clear as day, plain as day, the homeowner was actually inside the unmarked police car. Let me let you hear that. No, I don't think an overheard conversation is enough in this particular case for a search warrant, because what the search warrant said is talking about possible stolen Legos. No one reported Legos stolen. No one had any reason to believe it was them who stole the Legos. They were obviously trying to report that there were Legos stolen to the police. They were the ones who had already told the police that Legos were stolen. So I don't think this is enough for a search warrant. I think this search warrant is constitutionally deficient for many reasons. But here's this right here. Okay, so at the very beginning of this video, we get this officer. And remember, we noticed this, I believe, female hand. Look at the long nails. Look at the kind of prominent bony knuckles. Look at the kind of, it's like, this looks like a woman's hand. Also, I mean, they were trying to act like, there was somebody on the Reddit trying to act like I was doing some type of conspiracy theory. Like, why don't you use your eyes? Like, it's very easy to use your eyes and see that there's a reflection here. He's texting somebody. This is the beginning of the video. This is right before the raid. Look, there's like clearly somebody sitting here. Now, maybe it's a female police officer. Who knows? She's fixing her hair. You can very clearly see she has blonde hair. She's wearing sunglasses. And that's that. So then they get out, they do the raid, they do all that.
Just gonna give him this copy of the warrant, tell him how it went. Where these douchebags probably have property.
Hold on, it's 12:19. Okay, 11:30. Okay, because this is straight out of their mouth. All right. This is after the raid has taken place.
Where did Sean go? Hey, come here. You remember we were doing Hydra with the guy with the deagle?
Huh?
Remember when we did Hydra with the guy with the Desert Eagle?
Yeah.
This is his Airbnb. He's in my truck right now.
Oh, really?
This is his Airbnb. He's in my truck right now.
And that's so
Oh, yeah.
And I told people that. He was like, what the fuck? That's so funny. Detectives are going to have Orem come and look at these guys to see, because they have video surveillance of all their guys. So we'll keep them on ice until we can start stripping resources. But sounds like the other ships rolled in. They're starting to take calls.
They're starting to take calls, which is good.
Okay.
We'll make sure everything's cleared up.
It was great. And the fact that they were coming out when we were walking up. The main kid had his phone recording, so I shut it off. But
The other kid had a GoPro.
Listen to this.
Get out of here.
just going to give him this copy of the warrant, tell him how it went. Where these douchebags probably have property.
I'm just going to give him a copy of the warrant and tell him how it went. Something douchebag, something off the property. And listen what he says right after that, because this got cut off on the video we listened to yesterday. Listen to this.
The warrant, tell him how it went. Where these douchebags probably have property. Oops. Shouldn't have said that.
Oops. Shouldn't have said that. Oops. Shouldn't have said that. One more time.
Have property. Oops. Shouldn't have said that.
Get out of here.
1847, code 4.
Just gonna give him his copy of the warrant, tell him how it went. Or these douchebags probably have property. Oops. Shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't have. But you did. But you did. And now we all heard it. So, all that to say, there has been a lot of discussion about who has the right to talk about stuff publicly and who doesn't. Who has the right to expect privacy and who doesn't. I thought, back and forth over whether I really wanted to go over this today. Should I just leave it alone? But it's like, you know what? Wendy, Rachel Wells, who I believe is the bony hand sitting in the front of the car. You know what, Ryan? McKean Wells with the Desert Eagle. Y'all could have sat there and minded your business too, couldn't you? They could have sat there and minded their business. They could have said at that time, hey, look, dude, look, we're just trying to rent our Airbnb out. We ain't really trying to work with the cops to narc on our Airbnb guests. So, do we have to turn over the body camera footage? I mean, they could have. Do we have to turn over the surveillance footage? They could have said something like that. You know what the search warrant says? They were cooperative. They were cooperative. I also want to know how the Airbnb owners got in touch with the cops. Did the cops call them? Did they call the cops on the first instance? Because what the search warrant actually says, later, a third-party individual shared information about how they have a bunch of YouTubers renting out their Airbnb. That is very vague. It leaves room for a lot of questions. So, in the same way that Ryan and Rachel Wells could have avoided entering into this public controversy by simply remaining private individuals and not working as agents of the state, but decided not to, I am now also going to be commenting publicly on this matter of very important public concern. The news is international. There are videos being made about this in German, Korean, Mandarin. Okay? There's people across the world talking about this because it is deplorable. It's the reason I got involved in this case. Yes, it is very sad that a man had his Legos stolen. Yes, it is very sad that Crystal Law was evicted out of her store like that, and I hope for justice for them. But what on earth were the police doing a freaking automatic weapon SWAT raid? It looked like half of the American Fork Police Department was there at that house. And then whenever the public didn't like it, they sent out their captain to ASMR, try to hypnotize us and lie. He said in that public statement, whispered it, I should say, he whispered in his public statement that Ben was there pretending to serve a warrant that had already been served. That was a lie. And that police, that chief, that lieutenant, whatever in the hell, he should have known and probably did know that it was a lie because it was his own department that 3 days after Ben got arrested for trying to serve the warrant, 2 days later, his department got paid money to go and serve that same exact warrant. So the cop knew the warrant had not been served. The chief or whatever, the one that was, he knew or should have known because that's his department. He also lied about Sheldon Norcross and claimed he was trying to manipulate his phone. The only person trying to manipulate that phone was the American Fork Police Department by constantly trying to press the thing to keep it open, to circumvent the constitutional requirement that they get a search warrant. Then they relied on Wendy and or Ryan Wells with the Deagle as informants, intel gatherers, collaborators, cooperators. These people thrust themselves into this public controversy by working as agents of the American Fork Police Department. So welcome to your tape, Wellses. Hope you enjoy your time here. Here we are. All right. So this is what we talked about yesterday. Dishonorable Judge Roger W. Griffin, BYU graduate, signed off on the bogus search warrant. We have it right here. We have Captain ASMR here, Captain Liar Liar Pants on Fire. And the guy with the Deagle, Ryan Wells. Now, I don't know for sure if this right here is him, but that really does look like him. And a bunch of y'all sent me the actual Airbnb listing. Now, apparently it's gone. I mean, what it looks like to me is they actually rent out both the upper level and the lower level. Now, I do wonder if they had that zoned as a single or a double residence. I could actually look it up. I might do that after I get off the live today. If it's not zoned as a double residence, then maybe they're doing some tax evasion. I don't know. I'll look it up and let y'all know. But the picture on the thumbnail came from this. They made this public. Now, I do want to say before I get any further, I've gone out of my way many times to say this. As you can see scrolling down below me right now, do not contact or send hate to anyone mentioned in this video. Unlike Ryan and or Rachel Wendy, I'm not going to be cooperating with the cops against anybody. Okay. Unlike them, I'm not going to be making any allegations to the police about Wendy and Ryan. Maybe the zoning board, maybe the tax office, but I'm not going to be talking about any of their business to any police officers. Now, they didn't have the same common courtesy on the people who trusted them to stay in their Airbnb and not have automatic weapons rolling up on them. But don't contact these people. I haven't contacted them and I have no desire to. I don't trust these people. I think they'll sell you down the river for a corn chip and a coupon. I'm not really interested in having anything to do with these demon-possessed, psychotic bitches. I have absolutely no desire to talk to them, but I would strongly recommend y'all don't hit them up. And if you do, and you end up facing some type of criminal consequence for it, you probably deserve it. But they made this part right here public when they put their Airbnb out to the public on a public website for the public to rent. Okay. Now, when you click on it now, one of the links works and one of them says, oops. Shouldn't have said that. One of them says, oops. The listing is gone. And like cockroaches, they are now scurrying. But as you can see here, Ryan. He works as an educator, administrator, born in the 80s, speaks English and Spanish, and lives in American Fork. Identity verified. Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm a principal at an elementary school. Do I know which elementary school he's a principal at? Yes. Nobody put it in the chat, though. Is it a public record where he is an elementary school principal? Yes. Public. Don't put it in the chat. I'm not going to say it. But I'm making sure to dot my I's and cross my T's and all of that, okay? Because they will have us out here hiding for our lives over doing something we have the right to do, which is look at the public record of stuff and talk about it. Meanwhile, they can, you know what, all over anybody else's rights, and that's just how they do it, and we do it different in Utah. Okay. All right. I know where he's a principal. The elementary school has a Facebook page that's public. They ought to probably make that private. They ought to probably make that private. If the principal who owns a Desert Eagle and does some type of joint training mission with the local cops is going to be out here snitching and narking on his Airbnb guests, he's going to piss somebody off. They ought to probably make the elementary school private on the Facebook. There's pictures of people's kids. I would not want my kid going to a school with somebody that's the principal. I'll tell you that. I'd pull him out today. But I'm not going to mention where he's the principal of the school, okay? But he did make this information public. He did make this information public. He's a principal. His wife, Rachel, that's her middle name. Her real name is, apparently, according to the Registry of Deeds, Wendy. Wendy Rachel. She's a hairdresser and stay-at-home mom. Oh, okay. We have 4 amazing kids. Probably not a good idea to be advertising how many kids you have on your Airbnb listing if you're going to be snitching and narking to the cops for no reason. And we love to enjoy the beautiful outdoors. Were you outdoors with your ear up to the side of the house trying to eavesdrop on Ben and his friends talking about possible stolen Legos, which is the entire subject matter of their series that they're making? They enjoy time outdoors, whether camping, 4-wheeling, hiking, paddle boarding, or just home watching a movie and listening to Reckless Ben through the wall. Now, Ryan, verified, September 2020, trust is the cornerstone of Airbnb's community. Trust is the cornerstone of Airbnb's community. You should be able to trust that when you're making a YouTube video and you're minding your business inside the Airbnb you rented, you will have your expectation of privacy, which is a legal right under the federal constitution, respected or protected by the federal constitution, respected. Trust is the cornerstone of the Airbnb community. And identity verification is part of how we build it. Checks this person's information against a trusted third-party source or a government ID. The process has safeguards but doesn't guarantee that someone is who they say they are. Okay. So that's them. Wendy Rachel Wells, who has extremely blonde hair, if you'll notice. If you'll notice, her hair looks exactly like the lady's hair in the front seat of the unmarked F-150 for the American Fork Police Department. Doesn't it look just like that hair? I mean, look, it is Mormon. It is Utah. And a lot of these Mormon girls got this same hair, the bleach blonde with the Utah curl. Okay. So maybe that was somebody else sitting up in that front seat with the sunglasses flipping her hair. It's hard for me to believe that it was a cop. Hard for me to believe it was a cop, because why wouldn't the cop have gotten out? We did hear, what's his name? I think it was Tonga. I don't remember whose body cam. Well, I don't even actually know. This Axon body cam 311, 1747, 52. We heard him say, remember the guy, Hydro Desert Eagle? This is the own small world. He's in my truck right now. Waiting. The warrant, I will remind you, let's look at the timeline real quick. What time did Cole submit this? Executed. That means signed it. 5:11 p.m. on March 11th. 5:11 p.m. on March 11th. He signs this application for a search warrant. 5:37. Not even 30 minutes later, it gets approved by the BYU graduate judge, Roger W. Griffin. Not even 30 minutes goes by before it's approved. Not even 10 minutes goes by before they are banging on the door with guns. So one could be forgiven for believing, and also Cockroach, the one who filled out this thing and sent it in at 5:11, he was there on scene. He's the one with the automatic weapon. The one who's been a cop for less than 2 years at that point, only had been a police officer for more than a year, over a year. So not even 2 years as a police, and they handed that rookie an automatic weapon. He was the one that made this materially false affidavit upon which the search warrant was based. He not only submitted that search warrant affidavit at 5:11, he was there at the SWAT raid with gun in hand at 5:47. So 30 minutes? One could be forgiven for believing or assuming they were all just lined up on the street with the owners in the car, in the truck. Again, 5:11 p.m. That would be 11 o'clock. That's when he submits this. 5:37. That would be 17:37. The judge signs and issues the search warrant, and 10 minutes later, boots are on the ground, guns are in the hands, and they're walking up to that Airbnb. So, 5:11, 5:37, and 5:47. 5:37, the warrant gets approved. Less than 30 minutes after it's applied for, BYU grad judge. And then 10 minutes after that, they're banging on the door with guns. So, how long? Hold on. I gotta close one of these tabs. Hold on. Sorry, I'm drowning in tabs. How long was this unmarked car here? Unmarked car. Remember in the search warrant, the reference was made to this unmarked car. Unmarked patrol car, spying, scoping out. Later, a third-party individual who I believe, hold on. Yeah, okay, y'all can see. Who I believe is Wendy Rachel, the female. And that's why they say they instead of she, because down here when they're talking about the homeowner, it's he. Later, a third party, I said who? Shared information. How? Upon request? Was it via email? Was it on a phone? About how they have a bunch of YouTubers renting out their Airbnb. This fits the nature of Benjamin Schneider's group. An unmarked police unit went to the address to scope out the area. When the unmarked police unit scoped out the area, he noticed the same Chevy Malibu parked in the driveway. Now, I don't think it was parked in the driveway. I think it was parked on the street. This is associated with Ben Schneider. It is known, Okay, officers contacted the homeowner, which I don't know why you would need to, because this third party already contacted y'all. Or shared information. I don't know how. To inquire about video footage. The homeowner was cooperative. You mean by sitting in your truck? Provided that video footage. It displayed Ben walking into the basement at 15:58, so less than 2 hours prior. Right? Because when did the cops go in and start swatting? 17:47. So less than 2 hours before they started swatting, that's when Ben walked into the basement of the Airbnb that he rented and where he had a reasonable expectation of privacy. The homeowner also disclosed he could hear multiple individuals inside. Okay, wait. At this time, they don't say when, could hear multiple individuals inside the residence speaking about possible stolen Lego toys. How could he hear it? Was he there? Well, that would make sense because the cop said he was there in his truck. An unmarked police unit went and scoped out the area. There was a Chevy Malibu sitting there. The homeowner was cooperative and provided video footage. Well, it would have had to be pretty soon after the video footage was taken, right? Because within 2 hours, a search warrant had been effectuated. A search warrant was underway. A search was underway pursuant to the warrant. So within 2 hours, Ben walks into that basement and he has a automatic rifle pointed at him. So it must have moved pretty fast. But look how Cockroach wrote it in his warrant. Oh, later. This was a manhunt. And these homeowners were cooperative. How long was the unmarked car spying on Ben? How long was the unmarked car occupied by this woman? Whoever it is. I believe it's Wendy. Now that y'all have seen what Wendy Rachel Wells's picture on the public, now deleted Airbnb. Let me see if I have. Okay, this might be public still. I was thinking. About right. It's still public right now. It's public right now, and there was a review 1 day ago. 1 day ago. This is their picture. They put it up there publicly. Ryan put that picture up. It's public. Please don't send any hate. Please don't even contact them. There's pictures. I'm personally not going to stay there. I mean, I have occasion to go to Utah soon. Am I going to be renting any Airbnb in American Fork? Absolutely not. I don't want the cops to show up and roll up on me with guns for literally no reason because somebody put their ear up to the door or unlawfully surveilled me otherwise surreptitiously and said I was talking about a stolen Lego, because I guarantee you when I'm in Utah, if I go, I'm going to be talking about stolen Legos too. It makes me not want to use the service of Airbnb at all. It would be so much different if they went in there and found some crimes. If they went in there and found some evidence of a crime. If they went in there and found a freaking one single goddamn Lego brick. They found nothing. Nothing. Let me get to some of these real quick. Thank you so much, Dream Sigils, for the 5 gifted memberships, kicking the show off. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to Princess Jasmina. Love the color on you, cousin. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the $1.99. Thank you so much, Pyrex, for the $4.99. A search upon an unzoned Airbnb endangering the entire neighborhood. They already had a SWAT. What next? They're above the law like everyone else. Seems like it. Thank you to Interfecteris. Sorry about that. I'm not the IT tech of the world here. Thank you for the $5. Who is Key McAllister? I have no idea. I have no idea who that is. Thank you for the $2 super chat. It's not too late to get your law degree. I already got one. Thank you, Defiant. They did not receive a call about stolen Legos. In the incident report, it states that the cop who lives next door talked to the Airbnb owner. Okay, let me check out the incident report. Where's that? Would it be on BAM Sucks? I know there's like so many documents for different things. I have a lot of them, but I don't have a lot of them too. Browse by topic. Let's go American Fork. Which one's the incident report? Oh, I think this might be it. What day? This is an incident report, but I don't know. Okay, this is just trespass. I'm just trying to find this specific incident report. This is March 9th, March 10th. March 10th. This is where they tried to get him held without bail. Somebot. This is the affidavit for search warrant. So I'm looking for the police incident report that you're talking about, Defiant Samaritan. He didn't take anything. No items seized. I don't know which incident report about the guy that lived next door, but that would be very helpful if you could point me into the direction of that. It is difficult for me to like keep up with like every single thing being said in chat. So if you or someone could send me that specific incident report for that specific incident, would love to see that. I would love to see that. Thank you for the $10. Thank you so much for the $1.99. This is my second stream, so I don't know the channel at all. I got my law degree. I sure did, from the University of Pennsylvania. That's not Penn State. Okay, that's a different school, but go Penn State. Y'all are, woo, shout out to y'all too. That's not where I went though. Thank you for the $1.99. Thank you to Kate for the $9.99. I watched the American Fork City Council meeting and I feel bad for these people. They're already making cuts and only have basic fire and police coverage. This judgment will be on their backs. Well, that sucks. Maybe they should get rid of this chief and get a new one in place because, I mean, a horse rots from the head down. And that really does suck. But thankfully, at the local level, it is a lot easier to vote out the people who, aren't doing their jobs. It's a lot easier at the local level. Yeah, I mean, that sucks. That really does suck. But at the end of the day, this police department is a major liability to that city or that town or whatever. I mean, it's a major liability. Like, this police department needs to learn the law. They need to sit down and take their, notebooks out and learn a little bit about the Constitution. Thank you so much to Jameson for the $1.99 and the other $1.99. Who set up the trust? Josh Company sets up trusts. I want to know. I want to know. Thank you so much to Interfecteras for the $5. I believe the Airbnb owner is probably running it just to catch outsiders, and they probably bugged the place, allegedly. Definitely female and blonde. Looked like it to me. Now, that's what I want to know. How did they overhear? Overhear? That sounds like criminal eavesdropping to me. But that's my opinion. I don't know. Innocent until proven guilty. It's definitely not like the cops are going to arrest him for anything. They did Hydra with him, and he has a Desert Eagle. Thank you for the $2, GRB Chaser. That a lot of people have been speculating that this is like a drug reference. I don't think so. The reason I don't think so is because he says has the Desert Eagle. Like, I think the Hydra or the Hydro probably had something else to do with like a gun range training, some type of paramilitary, joint military training, Hydro. There is like a military training operation called Hydra in Utah. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these cops are on the National Guard. Maybe the cops are doing drugs with people. I really highly doubt it. In this particular, I really highly doubt when he talked about Hydra that's what he was talking about. But I mean, a lot of people do think that. I'm not trying to say I know and y'all don't. Maybe y'all are right. But without a little more proof, I'm not going to be out here being like, yeah, these like drug addict cops. Like, you understand I can't just like make these allegations. But I also really don't think that's what they were talking about. I really think they were talking about some type of tactical mission training or gun range training or something. Because he said we did Hydra with the guy with the Desert Eagle. Like, why would they be referencing the Desert Eagle if they were talking about drugs? But maybe, girl, who knows? Who knows? Thanks so much to or doing hydro, maybe water skiing. Again, why would they have a Desert Eagle? Right, exactly. This is a great question, Max. This is a great question. I mean, I think it goes without saying, but let's go ahead and ask it. Actually, good point. Thank you for the 50 SEK. Why would a random Airbnb host even care about somebody talking about a stolen Lego? That's a great question. It shouldn't mean anything to him. Nobody even knew about it. Exactly. Thanks so much, Interfectaris, for the $10. All of the story is sad, but this is bigger than Lego. We all know it's about exposing corruption on every level. It's not even about Utah or Mormons. It's about institutional corruption everywhere, period. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for the $10. Thank you to Tienuta Tien. I don't know. I'll probably butchered that pronunciation. Hydra is police first responder training exercise. That's kind of that's like the theory I'm going with right now. Thank you for the $2. They are defending, thank you, Player Profit, for the $2 Canadian. They're defending maliciousness with incompetence. Could be. Thanks so much to Make Bots Not Love for the $2. Again, we have somebody else with the theory of like maybe hydro is something to do with, a substance. Thank you so much to GRB for the $5. Ben's driver let the cops know Ben was at an Airbnb. His fault. Cops went looking for it. Their fault. At Airbnb, like, no, the cops knowing that Ben is at his Airbnb is not a license for them to raid the place. Okay, so that's something y'all have to understand, the way the Constitution works, the way our rights work. The cops can easily know where any of us are at any given time. They can probably get into our phones, probably a lot of stuff that they don't tell us they can do, they probably do in it. If they run our names, they can find where we live. If a cop is sitting outside in the driveway, he better get the hell up off my property. If the cop is sitting outside, he can know I'm inside. That doesn't give the cop a right to come and raid my house. So somebody simply saying Ben is at his Airbnb, so what? So he's not doing anything wrong there. If everybody could just be raided with guns and have their house busted into by the cops with guns, because the cops happen to know where we live or where we are, can you imagine the society we would live in? So Ben's driver letting the cops know that Ben is at the Airbnb is completely immaterial. It's completely irrelevant. The only relevant question here is, did the cops have probable cause based upon oath or affirmation, like a witness statement or an officer statement with evidence, that there was evidence of a crime in that Airbnb? And the answer is simply no. Somebody overhearing somebody talking about a possible stolen Lego is absolutely not probable cause. But it does create a lot of issues, like how did that owner hear that? How did the owner get in touch with the cops? Or did the cops get in touch with the owner? Somebody being inside of a house so what? He's not doing anything wrong. So I don't understand this whole, it's his fault. You're kind of missing the whole point. The cops can know you're in your house. They could sit out there in the public driveway or the public street all day long. They have to have probable cause based upon oath or affirmation. And almost always they have to have a search warrant. So, Ben's in the house. That's so what? Y'all need to understand how stuff works. Thanks so much to Interfect Harris for the $2. Yeah, they really... Thanks so much to Fressa for becoming a new member. Thank you to Big Black Dog for becoming a member. Thanks so much to Glitter Cat for the $5. We like to be outdoors watching local police swat our guests that we narked on. It makes... Put a 1 in the chat. Hold on. I'm not even going to do a 1 in the chat. I'm going to do a actual poll. I want to just see, am I alone here? Or are y'all also like low-key, like leery, wary of renting an Airbnb at all now, knowing that this is how they could do? Your Airbnb, the owner of your Airbnb could be sitting down the street on the block with the cops, informing them in the car, in the unmarked car that is spying on you when you have not committed any crimes. In the thing, it said some stuff about stalking. It said some stuff about harassment. None of that had been proven yet. But if it was about stalking and harassment, why were freaking Legos being stolen mentioned? We want to go in there and look for stolen Legos. Wait, was he charged with theft? Was he being investigated for theft? They didn't even say who. They said, we want to search Ben because multiple individuals were overheard. Multiple individuals were overheard talking about possible stolen Legos. So we need to bum rush into this house with guns, arrest people and bring them into cages, Interrogate them, violate their rights even further because somebody, unknown individuals, were talking about possible stolen Legos. I need to know. In this poll I'm about to put up. Oh, I'm signing the wrong thing. Hold on. If y'all are feeling a little bit some type of way about using the service of Airbnb at all whatsoever at this point, because I am now. And it is because of Ryan McKean Wells and Wendy Rachel Wells. So are you having second thoughts about using Airbnb at all, considering how they I'm going to do quotes, cooperated with American Fork Police Department? I'm going to vote in it. I'm going to vote in this poll. Are you having second thoughts? I'm going to vote yes. Hello, everybody. Yes. 41 votes, 60 votes. Let's get it up to, okay, 97, 109. 94% of people. 93% of people out of 200. Let's get the votes. I'm looking at the poll right now because I want to know. I'm feeling a little bit leery about renting an Airbnb, especially in Utah. I seriously, like, I'm actually like putting myself in the position, like I open the Airbnb door and I'm just looking around like, is there a camera in here? Is the owner going to come listen? One of the big reasons, a lot of us rent an Airbnb instead of a hotel is that it is way more private. It feels like you're in your own little home, away from home. We have 359 votes. 93% of y'all are leery of even using Airbnb again. Second thoughts. 369. Jason says it seems like Airbnb is okay with their owners violating their guests' rights since they haven't kicked them off the platform. Tunichifa said, I'm just getting a hotel, me. What is Airbnb's policy on recording devices? 93% of 406 votes. This is a public issue. It's an issue of public concern. Thanks so much to Zero for the 505. Did a dumb cop just grab a search warrant instead of an arrest warrant by mistake, or are they very different? They are very different. An arrest warrant does not allow them to go into a home or a residence. It only allows them to arrest. So you kind of have to wait till the person you see them. Now, they can go and knock on the door, but if nobody comes to the door, they can't bust the door down. I said yesterday, I think the reason they did this is because they wanted to have this huge police response. I mean, someone said earlier that the poor American Fork residents, poor things, bless their hearts, they're already kind of like understaffed with the police. They sent out 10, 15 cops, like 10 of them. That had to be a third of the damn police department. They're short on resources, but they're all there to intimidate some YouTubers. And even if, let's say that they didn't seize any items, not even one single Lego brick, but let's say they did. Let's say somehow there was like some stolen Legos in there. Well, it's interesting to me because it's like, why are you investigating stolen Legos on the one hand and not the other hand whenever other people have been accused of stealing Legos? Okay, let's leave that to the side for a moment. If it was stolen Legos, did it require all those cops with the guns and the pepper spray and the bulletproof vests and the 6 police cruisers and the 1 unmarked police cruiser with the owners of the Airbnb sitting in it? Did it require all that for some stolen Legos? Like, it wasn't like they were like, oh, Your Honor, we need the search warrant because they got guns. We need the search warrant because they got drugs. We need the search warrant because they have a human trafficking ring going on in there. No, a possible stolen Legos is what the warrant said, the affidavit. Possible stolen Legos. What? Thank you so much to Alloy for gifting one BJC live show membership. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to Rhiannon for the $2. It's giving lemon pound cake. It is. And I think that Ben might actually be from Ohio or like has lived in Ohio. And that's where the whole Afro Man thing happened. Thank you so much to Ben Rosenthal for the $2. The BAM Mapcom shows the shell game. BAM Mapcom. I don't know what that is. Thank you for the $2. Thanks so much to CDC Dogs for the $4.99. Hydro Desert Eagle usually refers to a toy or airsoft gel blaster designed to look like iconic 50 caliber handgun, usually probably used for training. Ah, okay. Thank you for that $4.99. Thank you to Mr. Rakar for the $5. Hydro dipping a Desert Eagle is to change the appearance of the pew pew, common among pew pew enthusiasts. Ah, could be. Maybe they went and did some hydro dipping. Maybe could have been that. I don't know. He literally says hydro. He said the same guy did the hydro with. He said the same guy they did the hydro with owned the gun and the Airbnb. Why do you guys keep forcing hydra? Well, it's actually a linguistic phenomenon called vowel fronting, and people in the Pacific Northwest also do this, and some dialects of American English like North Carolina, South Carolina, where it will actually sound to non-native speakers of that dialect as if someone is saying O instead of A. Hydro with the guy, hydro, radical. It's called vowel fronting. So it does, to me, as a speaker of like a Southern American English dialect, it does sound like it's ambiguous and could go either way. But I do understand, Crystalia, thank you for the $10, how somebody who doesn't speak those dialects might just only hear one. There's a lot of different things that like dialects do, like pen and pin. Like some dialects in the Northeast will call like a writing utensil a pen, and they'll call something that you poke yourself with, you know, like a pin, pen, pin. But then in the South, everything's a pen, and that's why you got to say ink pen. Give me an ink pen, because you're just saying pen. So it's like a pig pen, ink pen, a hat pen. It's everything's a pen. Pen law, pen state. It's very dialectal. So I really don't think people are trying to force anything. I think anybody that's like trying to only say that it has to be one thing is actually the one that's trying to force. So I do understand that you have your opinion on this and you're very zealous about it, but I just frankly don't agree. I don't think he was saying, remember when we did drugs with each other? I just don't think that's what he's saying. But maybe. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Thanks so much to Unlucky Charms for the $5. A little tidbit about trespassing is police cannot solicit a trespass. Ooh, nor can they take up a defamation crime on their own. Yep. Thank you, 2012 Jameson, for the $4.99. My theory is Josh Johnson, who wants Ben arrested, asked the Airbnb owner to help him get Ben arrested. And it is Josh that is saying Ben stole the Legos. He did say that. You stole them, bitch. And aren't Mormons not supposed to curse? Why did Josh Johnson say to Ben, you stole a bitch? Why do you say bitch? Is he allowed to say that? Somebody tell me. Anyway, thank you for the $4.99. That's a good theory. Could be. I don't know. I wasn't there. Thanks so much to It's Just Shara for the $2. I don't want to even visit Utah in general now. It seems scary. It does seem very beautiful. Utah and Arizona both. And Nevada. Like the big mountains. I've been to Las Vegas, but they don't have the mountains like that. Like when you're in Utah, like Salt Lake City, like seeing the pictures and stuff. Oh my God. One day I do want to go see those mountains, to be honest. It looks so beautiful. I've never seen anything like that. But they're scary over there. I see where you're coming from. Thank you to Dream Sigils for the $5. Airbnb is corrupt too. I will never stay there, and I have never. I know someone that works for their corporation in homeowner protections. He is a creep womanizer. Oh. Thanks so much to 2012 Jameson for the $1.99. No-knock warrants are hard to get. BAM Map. Okay, thank you, Ben. The BAM Map, one word with a .com. Okay. Hold on, let me see. The BAM Map, thebammap.com. What is this? An investigative dossier. What is this? Oh, it just came out yesterday. Oh, wow. Okay, so this. Thanks much to Shorky Dog Mom Coffee Lover for the $9.99. I think there was an Airbnb case before about a person being recorded in the bedroom and the shower. It was a while back. After I heard that, I decided to never use them. Yeah, I don't blame you. I ain't using them myself. I'm going to the La Quinta, girl. I'm going to be at the Holiday Inn or whatever. Okay, so Ben told me about this. This looks like it just came out yesterday. It does say this was compiled on June 17th, 2026, which was yesterday. So it says, the asset protection machine behind the stolen Lego story. A consigned Lego collection went missing from a toy store franchise in Oregon. Pull the thread and it runs into a 2-generation Utah enterprise that sold a playbook for dodging creditors, ran that playbook on its own companies, and answered its loudest critic with a racketeering suit, a gag order, and a police raid whose body cam was loudly redacted. This page attempts to create the complete self-contained record, every entity, every relationship, and why it matters, the full event chronology, every legal argument, and every document, each graded and sourced. Okay. So obviously, if it's the whole story, we're not going to be able to get into all of it, but we can read this first, like intro paragraph, see where it leads. In November 2023, Brian Mansell walked into the Bricks and Minifigs store in Kaiser, Oregon, and consigned his elderly father's Star Wars Lego collection to the franchise to sell. He never saw most of it again. A year later, the franchisor terminated that store, repossessed it, ran it as a corporate location, and then handed it to 2 new independent owners. One was the franchisor's own franchise sales recruiter. Wow, it's true. All this is stuff that I've seen too. The other was the contractor it had sent to inventory the store before it even seized it. This says when it seized it, but it was actually before. Remember, it was like October 20 something. Then they seized the store in November. When a YouTuber who covers Lego, Reckless Ben, began documenting the missing collection. I don't think he actually does cover Lego. I think he's just an investigator YouTuber. Began documenting the missing collection. The response was not to give a refund. It was a 13-count racketeering lawsuit, a restraining order dictating what he could publish, takedown demands to Patreon, GoFundMe, and after a traffic stop, a search warrant, an arrest, and a body camera footage of the police that the police released, blacking out roughly 3 hours of video and muting about 94 minutes of audio. This person says, I don't think this is probably like AI written or assisted. None of that, what you just heard, is the real story. I agree. To me, like, okay, if you're asking me what I think is the most important, it's the corruption of the police, how they got involved in this private dispute, even though they admitted many times this was supposed to be a civil matter to work out between private parties. And the company, the business, the structure, the organization, the corporate structure. What's going on behind the curtain at BAM? What's going on behind the curtain that Am and McNeff seem so terrified of it getting out? That's what I think is the real story. To me, that's my opinion. Not to dismiss or to diminish the real human suffering and pain that has also been caused by this. But it's like, how many other people have been hurt by this? It's like, if A, then B. If A, then B, right? This is the logical. If A, then B. If somebody was abused, they're an abuse victim. Okay, so yes, we're looking at B, which is the fallout. It's the consequence. It's the conclusion. It's the reality. The B is that Crystal Gorman was dispossessed of her property. The B as well, or we could call it C, is that Ben Mansell also dispossessed of his property. But in my opinion, B and C are both caused by A, which is the business. What's going on over there? That's what I'm trying to look at. That's what I'm the most interested in, that and the cops. And what I really think and wonder, I shouldn't say think, I have a hunch that there's some overlap between that as well. None of that is the real story. It is the surface of one. Underneath is legally mine. an asset protection firm built by Daniel J. McNeff. He had originally run it with his sons Ammon and Matthew. Their entire business was teaching people to make themselves hard to sue and hard to collect from. An Ohio court has ruled an Ohio court ruled that they were engaged in the unauthorized practice of law. But I want to be very clear. As far as the business records are concerned, Ammon and Matt are no longer involved in this company. And what I truly believe, my genuinely held belief, is they're no longer involved in Legally Mine in any level. I believe, and what the lawsuits and the public record do support, is Dan, whether it's, whether they were, it was some type of farce lawsuit or not, not even getting into that. When they kept going back and forth, Dan with his sons back and forth, the end result of that is to split up the businesses. So the end result of that was Dan walked away with one baby, or one half of the baby, or one baby. We'll just say one baby, which was Legally Mine. They split ways, and the sons walked away with Bricks and Minifigs and BAM Franchising Inc. That's what it appears like to me. That is what the public record says. So just to be very clear, it is not in the public record. Does not appear to be the case that Ammon and Matt are still involved. And it doesn't appear to be the case that they were involved in Legally Mine for the past 5 years. So when Legally Mine was found to be engaged in the unauthorized practice of law in Ohio by the Ohio State Bar Association, it was in 2025, which was a good 4 years after Ammon and Matt had been separated from Legally Mine, at least in the, public documents and stuff. So I want to be very clear. I'm reading the BAM map, but I want to just be clear that Legally Mine, yes, Ammon used to be the president. He used to be a big deal, a big part of the company. He used to be in charge of a lot of stuff. It doesn't appear like he is anymore. And he was out of the picture of Legally Mine by the time that unauthorized practice of law thing came around. The family then appears to have had run the same creditor frustration playbook on its own companies. Appears. Okay, this is not a fact. A litigated firm renamed to an empty husk. The brand handed to a man the FTC won a 1999 consumer redress judgment against over the collapsed iMall internet venture. I don't know what that is. This is new news to me, that little thing. And a new holding company stood up to hold the trademarks of the insolvent toy franchise in the middle of the litigation, even as the marks themselves still sit registered to the old entity. That must be the Bricks and Minifigs trademark. Two halves are the same instinct. Never let the facts be tested, make the assets hard to reach, and turn every institution within reach, the civil courts, a gag order, the police, on anyone who asks where they went. People who win by hiding the connections lose when the connections are laid out in one place. Wow. So this is like this is a long website. And I will have to look at that. Where's the map? Litigation map? Thank you for the $5. Thank you to Brew for the $9.99. I run an Airbnb. Hosts are not allowed to disclose private customer info. Oh my gosh. Brew, thank you. I was wondering this. If you have like a screenshot of some agreement, or if you could send, I don't want anything private. But if it's like you have a screenshot of some sort that says this, like, the contract, again, please don't show me anything private. I don't want anything private. But he said, I run an Airbnb. Under the Airbnb rules, hosts are not allowed to disclose private customer information of ABN to law enforcement without a verified formal request. It has to be subpoena, warrant, etc. It must go through official Airbnb channels. Oh my God. Thank you, Ben, for the $4.99 super chat. Look at the map. Is this the map? I'm on the map, but where's the map? Workforce Services versus Legally Mine. Wow, look at all of this. My God. This is crazy. Whoever, oh, here it is. So you can click any node and trace the relationships. Here's the new Legally Mine is doing business as Centra. Medisource. What's Medisource? Castle Funding sued the operating entity, alleging purchase stream of future receivables, ACH remittance that failed a guarantee and balance of $55,000. The Castle action was discontinued. What makes Castle file telling is its service roster. The papers reach not just Legally Mine, but also Medisource Marketing. Okay, this is interesting to me because when Dan McNeff reassigned his sons, Ammon and Matt, to stop working at Legally Mine, leave the office, get out of my office, and go down the street and worry about running BAM, Bricks and Minifigs. Dan McNeff also not only took him off of Legally Mine, took him off of all the work they were doing with Medisource Marketing. So now we're looking here at this thing that was just put out yesterday that Legally Mine was sued before alongside Medisource Marketing. The lender understood it was dealing with a constellation, not a company. What is Medisource Marketing? That's what I want to know. Wow, this is like a very extensive... Okay, hold on. Here's the map. Where's the map? That's what I want. Wasn't I just on this map? Ooh. Okay. The issue is like when I try to zoom in, it's like glitches the whole thing out. John Masick. He's the original owner of founder, one of the two founders. These two guys right here are the founders. Legally Mine, Swiss Fund, National Foundation, J Mitten, Vail Corporate. J Mitten is attached to Vail Corporate? Oh, because it's a parallel Mitten lineage mill. Okay, gotcha. Wow, this is crazy. These things kind of like blow my mind a little bit. This is very interesting. Woo. All right, y'all. Well, that is thebammap.com. That is thebammap.com. You can go check that out. Thanks so much for the $4.99. Thank you, Ben, for letting me know about that. Thank you for the $2. Connection map. Connection map? It says litigation map. I don't see connection map. Thanks so much to GRB for the $5. Have you seen Eagle Dog's video, The Chihuahua Effect? Yes, I did mention it yesterday for a little bit. Thank you so much for the $5, or the day before maybe. Thanks so much to Cat Facts for the $4.99. Does Utah have strong anti-SLAPP, or should Ben try to get his case moved to California? It's going to be very hard for him to get his case moved to California. I really don't think he'll be able to. He did avail himself to the state of Utah when he went to Utah. So he was there for all the incidents. I think it's pretty much going to have to stay in Utah. Because the lawsuit is based on actions he actually took in Utah as well. Yeah, the video was probably, edited or published when he was in California. But I think it would be very difficult to get it removed to California. I think it would probably not even be worth trying to do it, but who knows? But Utah does have anti-SLAPP law. And it seems to be, definitely not as old and well established as the California one, but they do appear to have one. Thank you for the $4.99. The appendix almost has 1,000 documents and resources. Joshua Johnson did not drop a video. You gotta be kidding me. People come in here and say anything, but now I'll just look it up just in case. Does he have a YouTube channel? That would be so funny if he really did. I would laugh. Oh, Joshua Johnson, the comedian you talking about? I knew about that, yeah. The band map has a section on anti-slap. Good to know. Good to know. Thanks so much to Ben for the $2. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The comedian, yeah. Okay. So let me go to this thing. All right. Is this the one that is still up? This is a possible Hydra thing, but it doesn't mention the police. So I just wanted to show it to y'all. We really don't know what the Hydra is. Maybe he was saying they was doing drugs, girl. I don't know. Utah's joint exercise Hydra challenges the boundaries of traditional exercises. Salt Lake City, the Utah Army and Air National Guard, in partnership with the Air Force and the Air Force Reserve, concluded joint exercise Hydra. May 2025, the exercise demonstrated the lethality of cross-service collaboration and the value it brings to joint force readiness, innovation, and cultural evolution. Within the force, an essential step in building America's combat power, blah, 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 blah. So, I don't know, girl. I mean, much like its mythological namesake, known for its resilience and ability to strike from multiple angles, the joint exercise, yeah, I mean, this sounds like they had a Hydra on Ben. The joint exercise showcased real-time battle space visualization, enhanced targeting coordination, and extended operational reach through advanced technology and communication capabilities. Girl, somebody over there needs to learn how to write a sentence. This is too damn long. These are critical components of developing wartime skills, deterring the enemy, and ensuring operational flexibility. So the enemy, I mean, look, I'm not saying this is real. This is definitely what they were talking about. I really have no idea. But reading this makes me realize that like an entire military operation or something like it was absolutely launched against Ben and his friends who were doing nothing wrong. Like maybe there was like a little bit of like, they were aggravating, they were annoying. Excuse me. Maybe at some point, what they were doing would have turned into stalking or harassment. It's up to a court to decide or whatever. But like its mythological namesake, do y'all know what a Hydra is? It's like a multi-headed thing, and if you cut one of its heads off, 3 more grow back. You probably saw it in like Hercules. It's like, one of these things. It's got all these heads. This. It's got like, it's like one of these things. So like a Hydra. Enhanced targeting coordination, extended operational reach, advanced technology, communication, wartime. This is like they like attacked they ran a wartime operation on this man. It's from Greek mythology, right? Thanks so much to Nachala for the £1 super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks so much to Scruffy for the $2 super chat. Also, Hydra is name of the bad guy organization. Exactly. Why was the first words from the head detective, we have the subject in custody when there was no search? The target. Target. They called him a target. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's one thing. And then, just, I don't know. Can y'all hear that? Let me just do this. Make sure y'all are going to be able to hear. Give me one moment. So this is the Defense Visual Information Distribution Service. This is a video that they made on this joint exercise. Joint exercise Hydra challenges the boundaries of traditional exercises, cyber team, and medical detachment. And they do holler somebody's name is Ryan. And that's, Ryan Wells. I don't know.
And I'm going to pull that. He likes it. Jerome. Ryan. Here. Skylar. Bowen. Jesse.
So they're doing like a roll call.
He likes it rough.
He likes it rough.
Jerome. Ryan. Here.
Okay, no, that's not him. This is Ryan. That's not him, right? No.
Bowen. Here. Jesse. Daniel. Here.
This looks crazy. This looks like something I'm not supposed to be looking at. Like, we're not supposed to be able to see this. Look at him sitting in the plane. Ew. Scary. Anyway, so y'all can research that if you want. The search warrant had nothing about arrest. The arrest was illegal. Arrest warrant was written after the arrest. See? Thanks so much to Narcissen for the 10 euros. Sorry, just tuning in. Is there a connection to the training system called Hydra? I don't know. That's the whole, the bottom line about the Hydro, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Thank you for the 10 euros. Oilos. Thank you for the 1999 Mercurial. Take a peek at the new American Fork promotional. There's a new American Fork promotional video? Okay. I'll pull that up. Oh, the AI song? Oh, shoot. Okay, hold on. I gotta handle something for work real quick. I gotta send an email. Sorry, I gotta put on another hat real quick. I'll let y'all listen to the AI song while we're waiting. This thing caused quite the ruckus on the Reddit. The people were mad about it being AI. I mean, me personally, I think there's like a place for AI when it's like a joke and it's funny and it's like obvious that it's AI and whatever. You know, people being like, this takes jobs away from like real, humans and stuff. It might, but I just highly doubt anybody was going to hire somebody to make this music video. I really do.
Welcome to American Fork, a friendly town, a real good time. We pulled you over for a red light. The dash cam disagrees, but that's fine. We do things a little different here. We take care of our own. Got a problem with a friend of ours. Maybe you should just go home.
Oh.
You want to serve some court documents. Our buddy doesn't want them though.
Oh, okay.
We told him he can just
Him on the porch is funny to me.
but he won't know. Your eyes are looking mighty glossy.
Oh.
A friend here says you're dealing drugs. We searched your car for 3 whole hours and only found a couple shrugs.
A shame.
We do things a little different here. We take care of
I love the banjo.
Got a problem with a friend of ours. Maybe you should just go home.
Oh no. I love a banjo, me. Oh no. They made him look better as AI. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Oh my god, this is too good. I love this part. Break it down.
Our buddy owns your Airbnb. We go out hydroing now and then. He says he heard
Hydroing.
you mention Lego, and that's enough.
This is too much. Hold on. What do you mean, Ross? What's making you say that, Rossum? Is removing homeowners before a raid standard operating procedure? I have no idea. Thank you for the $1.99. I have no idea about their standard operating procedure. No clue. Yeah, I guess let's finish our little song.
Did the search in 90 seconds. Didn't find a single brick. But everyone inside got cuffed. Our buddy's tip did just the trick. We do things a little different here. We take care of our own. Got a problem with a friend of ours. Maybe you should just go home. Our body cam was on the whole time. We take transparency to heart. Then accidentally release the real one. Oops, we missed the redacted part.
Whoops.
Welcome to American Fork. We'd love for you to visit. Leave your cameras at the door and your Lego at home.
Oh my God, kicking up the dirt in the front yard, please. I need a banjo player and I need a fiddler. If I could get a banjo player and a fiddler, whew, the damage I could do. I need me a banjo player and a fiddler. Banjo player and a fiddler. Oh no. Ah, meta. Oh shoot. Okay. Hold on a second. Oh, you got the certificate of merger. Wow. Okay. Somebody paid $89. I do not know if they want to be named. Let me see if they say it in the email. Please see this file I ordered for $89, such that you therefore don't have to. Okay, I'm not going to say the person's name. I don't know if they want me to say their name. But there's a certificate of merger. We have a breaking new document from the Delaware Corporations Division, the Delaware Secretary of State. And this has to do with BAM franchising. Okay, so BAM franchising, Bricks and Minifigs franchising, sorry, I lost my train of thought reading y'all's comments. Let me pull this up. Okay, so here it is. So there's a little bit of a mystery somewhat going on with the Bricks and Minifigs corporate, because there's like Bricks and Minifigs, which is a company, and then there's like BAM, B-A-M, which stands for Bricks and Minifigs, but it's like one word, BAM, franchising. Bricks and Minifigs, and then BAM franchising. So there's like Bricks and Minifigs, the store, and then there's like the franchising aspect of the business. And then each of these little franchisees, they own LLCs or whatever that then own the stores while they are franchisees. Originally, Bricks and Minifigs, I believe, was an Oregon corporation. Then they moved the headquarters of the operation from Oregon to Utah, I believe around 2017, 2018. Don't quote me on that. Might have been earlier. But at some point, it moved from Oregon to Utah. Then at some point, more recently, it moved out of Utah as the I don't want to say the wrong word because words have meanings. The registered address for the business then changed from Utah to Delaware. So now it's a Delaware corporation. And even in the RICO filing that they made against Ben, even in that RICO filing, they call it a Delaware corporation, if I recall correctly. And so when you go to Delaware, when you go to the Delaware Secretary of State, actually, let me show y'all what the public record looks like over there and what you can actually access as a member of the public. Delaware Secretary of State Corporations Division. I'll show you what you can access for free. We do things differently over here in Delaware. I think this is appropriate use of AI. Otherwise, I don't like it either. Okay. So if you go to Delaware, State of Delaware. Oh, girl, no. Go to State of Delaware Corporations Division, State of Delaware official website of the first state. You go here, entity name, and if you were to say like BAM franchising, something comes up here. Hello. Okay, down here. And when I click on it, this is the information that is available for free to the public. Entity details tells you when it was formed or incorporated. That would have been October 2023. This was the year during which Crystal and her husband Ben owned the franchise. Remember, they did start with Bricks and Minifigs. They started owning the franchise in the Kaiser stores, Kaiser Salem, in February 2023. So this was within that time frame. The company BAM Franchising Inc. moves out of Utah they're still in Utah, but like moves for purposes of the headquarters or whatever, the corporation, the home of the corporation is now Delaware, and that's as of October 2023. BAM Franchising, it was incorporated or formed. But you also get Registered Agent Solutions. Now, I will say Registered Agent Solutions is a very common, there are only a few registered agents in Delaware from the last time I heard, this taught. Maybe things have been changed. Maybe I'm just misremembering, but from what I understand, like you actually do have to have like a local registered agent in Delaware to be the registered agent. And there's just like a few of them. And so this Registered Agent Solutions, I don't think, we have enough information to just, for no reason, think that this is somehow related or connected to the McNeffs, kind of like how that LMRA is. I think this is just like one of those Delaware registered agents. But then it's like for additional, fees, you can get more info, like the status of the organization or more detailed information, including current franchise tax assessment. Current franchise tax assessment. Oh, I'd love to know that. Current filing history and more for a fee of $20. And so someone did send me this, and they said they paid the $20 and then they paid even extra more dollars, $89 to be exact, to get the certificate of merger. So, wow. Okay. So this is some new breaking news. I haven't seen anybody else talking about this. I didn't even know this existed. It says, pursuant to Title 8, Section 252 of the Delaware General Corporation Law, the undersigned corporation executed the following certificate of merger. The name of the surviving corporation will be BAM Franchising Inc., a Delaware corporation, and the name of the corporation being merged into it is BAM Franchising Inc., an Oregon corporation. What about the Utah one? Third, the name of the surviving corporation is BAM Franchising Inc. Oh, look. So, I mean, this is like in and of itself, this isn't like a big, smoking gun or even a red flag. Like people move their corporations to Delaware all the time. Delaware does have the most robust, it's called the Chancery Court. And if you are, if you're going into business and you anticipate there might be a lot of business contractual liability, like you go into a lot of contracts or you sign a lot of NDAs or whatever, like any normal ordinary course of business thing, it's actually, there's a lot of benefits to incorporating in Delaware that are legal and that are fine. Like for, like the first thing that comes to my mind, like if I'm going to open a business, I'll probably like to incorporate it in Delaware, not because it's secret or something, because like, as you could see, you can still get the documents. it's harder to get them, but that's not really what comes to my mind. What comes to my mind is the courts in Delaware, at especially the Chancery Court, the business courts, they're very sophisticated. They are some of the smartest judges in the whole world, and they really understand business. Like, they understand taxes a lot. It's very prestigious. It's the hardest bar exam to pass. A lot of people say it's New York. A lot of people say it's California. None of that is true. The hardest bar exam to pass is Delaware. There's only like a few Delaware barred attorneys. There's really not a bunch of them. And so if I'm like going to have the choice to have somebody who really understands the business laws and like they're fast too because they understand it, and all the clerks that they get are from like the best law schools, like it's just a really sophisticated court system versus like going to podunk middle of nowhere, you know, USA in another state where maybe they don't do a lot of corporate cases, they don't have a lot of tax, they don't have a lot of IP, you know, I mean, IP does go to a different thing, the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board usually, but that's neither here nor there. I would rather a judge who knows what the hell they're looking at versus, for example, in Utah, you might have the same judge, Tony Graff, on a murder case, a divorce, a civil RICO. Like, I want to put my future in the hands of a judge who actually knows what the hell the situation is going on there. So in and of itself, it's not like some kind of red flag or something so weird that they would move the corporation out of a place like Oregon where they don't live into a place like Delaware. Nevada also has similar benefits to having your corporation there as well. I mean, we did hear Jay McNeff talking about incorporating in Alaska for some, like, it won't be able to pass through taxation. I don't know. I don't even think that man knows what the hell he's talking about. Speaking of Jay McNeff, wait, we have to take a detour. Wait, somebody sent me this too. Y'all are crazy for this. Y'all are crazy for sending me this, but I gotta show y'all. Dan McNeff in the 70s. Allegedly. I don't know where they got this from. Girl, that could be AI. Oh my God. It was so funny to me. That was so funny to me. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Oh, Lord. Oh my God. I don't know why I think that one more time. Help. Oh my God. He looks just like, what's his name? He looks just like Ammon. Oh, man. Thanks so much, Jameson, for the $1.99. Warrant was for basement. Why was the owner in the truck? Good question. Your rights in American Fork. Stay in American Fork. Meet Josh, the chief of police. Exactly. Thank you, Murphy, Maddie, for the $5. Thank you to CJ for the $2. Has anyone looked into Craigle? I'm getting there. I haven't, though. Thank you so much to Volve8 for the $2 Australian. BAM is abusing phoenixing. Business claim. What's that? What's phoenixing? Oh, I could definitely see why you say that. I didn't know that. I should have known there was some type of word for it. Phoenixing. Is the practice of deliberately liquidating, abandoning, or winding up a failing business to evade its debts and taxes, then transferring its assets into a new company to continue the same operation. While closing a truly unviable business and legally restructuring is permitted under insolvency laws, illegal phoenixing causes massive harm to employees, suppliers, government tax agencies, and debtors. Asset stripping. The valuable assets, equipment, and client databases are transferred from the old indebted company to a new one for less than fair market value. Debt abandonment. The original company is abandoned, liquidated, or dissolved with no remaining assets to pay off its creditors, taxes, or employee entitlements. And then the same directors continue operating the exact same business under a subtly altered or identical name. I don't know if they are or they are not. Thank you for the $2 Australian, but I wouldn't be surprised to find out they were. Oh my God, shout out to Kevin. Oh my God, there's so many Australians in here. 3:30 in the morning in Australia. You get up for work at 4, but you got me hooked, so I'm up early just for you. Oh, shout out to Kevin. Y'all give some claps or some happy emojis for Kevin. Up at 3:30 just to catch up on what is going on with these MacNefs. Thank you for the $7.99, Kevin. Hope you have a good day at work. These people are the definition of money changers. Does seem like it. Does seem like it. New Zealand is 5:30 over there. Shout out to the New Zealand cousins. I love people from Australia and New Zealand. I feel like that's my cousins. I feel like up the ancestry line, like we got split off from the same crop. I really feel like that's my cousins. I really do. Okay. That song was funny. I need a banjo player out here. Okay, anyway, without further ado, let's continue on in that business entity filing. And again, thank you to the person who did send that, said it was $89. Wow. Glad I didn't have to buy it. Yes, of course. Obviously, a lot of love for the UK. Lots of love for the, I mean, not them inbred royals. They got squatting, calling themselves royals. But, the people? Oh, yeah, that's my cousins. That's obviously my cousins. Spain, that's my cousins. France, that's my cousins. I mean, I got a lot of cousins. Okay, Germany, definitely that's my cousins. Das ist meine Cousin. Cousine? How do you say cousin in German? Okay, diese sind meine cousins sind. How would you say that? Okay, let me pull up this document. All right. Prima. Yes. Mi prima. Mi prima. Mi primos. Okay. The surviving corporation is going to be BAM Franchising. The merger is to become effective on December 18th, 2023 for accounting purposes only, whatever that means. The agreement of merger is on file in Utah. This was signed April 18th, 2024 by Ammon McNeff, president. Wow. So that's good to know. I mean, we pretty much could have assumed that there was some type of a merger. But what that tells me is the Utah one is still alive and well. Because look, this is why I say that. And somebody who knows more about, like, you know, tax accounting and this stuff than me, please let me know. If you look, if for some reason, somehow, some way, we have an M&A attorney in here, that'd be even better. But the name of the surviving corporation is BAM Franchising Inc. The name of the corporation being merged into the surviving corporation is BAM Franchising Inc. from Oregon. So the Oregon one is like shut down. It's over, but like not really. It still survives like inside the BAM Franchising Inc. That is going to be a Delaware, state of Delaware certificate of merger of a foreign corporation into a domestic corporation. So if you're calling it a domestic corporation on a Delaware filing, that means that it's a Delaware corporation. So the Oregon one did merge into the Delaware one. The name of the surviving corporation is still going to be BAM Franchising Inc. So it looks like they moved the Oregon one over there to Delaware. But isn't there also a Utah corporation? Maybe that's a registration of a foreign entity. I think that's what it is. Der Vetter or der Cousin auf Deutsch. Dankeschön. If it's an LLC, it can still be operated as a separate entity. Okay, well then we got to go check. It's Inc. It's Inc. This is one of the really fun and really cool things that I'm so inspired by about this case. This case has summoned up some of the smartest, most educated, most capable people, accountants, lawyers. We're all kind of out here like, no, hold on. We have things to say. Like, it's really cool to see like the best of the best and the best and brightest kind of getting into this case. It's like people were telling me how to fix my audio the other day. We got people from all walks of life and the best. Okay, let's go to the Utah Secretary of State. Oh, you know what else happened? We have to talk about Ben. Reckless Ben broke his silence on Chris Cuomo. We have to talk about that. We'll talk about that next. Let me just finish up this. Let me close this loop on this Utah Secretary of State, this situation with the entity itself. Let me close the loop. I'm here on this website. This like landing page, I'm not used to seeing this. Usually this is not what comes up when I search for this. Oh. Oh, click here. Okay. Search business entity records. I'm going to type in BAM franchising. Administratively dissolved. So it's inactive. It's inactive. Okay. So the remaining, so the surviving corporation appears to only be the Delaware one, in case you were wondering. Will Ben get in trouble if he keeps saying the mystery company? Well, will Ben get in trouble? I don't know what that crazy judge is going to do. Is he supposed to be able to get in trouble? No. Thanks so much to CJ for the $10 super chat. It's also interesting that the former CFO of BAM was the CFO. What? This is news to me. Isn't Cincy a MLM? Hold on. This would thicken the plot. I'll say that. It's also interesting that the former CFO of BAM, tell me who, is the current CFO is Reed Brimhall, right? So who's the former one? Former CFO of BAM was the CFO of Cincy, and his son also worked for Bricks and Minifigs. They also had a plastics company that was a conflict of interest that was disclosed in Minnesota. Thank you for the $10. Thank you so much to Jameson for the $1.99. Robert Barnes could explain corporate issues. I don't know who that is. Thank you for the $1.99. Oh, it doesn't mean inactive. It just means they haven't renewed their status. Okay. Oh, you're right. They didn't file. You're so right, Bear Honey. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. We got some sharp ones on the case. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Good point. Excellent point. They only just applied. Oh, I'm not on the right thing here. They only just applied in 2020, application for authority to transact business. Wait a second. So if they're inactive because they've been administratively dissolved, which means they didn't renew their status to conduct business in the state of Utah, what are the implications? What are the implications? Are they allowed to conduct business in the state of Utah? If they get sued, will it be easier to pierce the corporate veil in the state of Utah for things that happen in the state of Utah because they didn't keep their entity up to date? I don't know. I mean, it is like pretty common for people's registrations and stuff to lapse because it's like, oops, didn't file my annual thing. But this was like 6 years ago. Yes, if you are RHOSLC, girl, what? Even Whitney Raises got involved in MLM. It was a mess trying to get out. I don't know. Oh, Real House something. I don't know what that. Oh, Salt Lake City. Is that Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? Thank you, CJ, for the $5. Reed Brimhall. Yes, in the disclosures doc for Minnesota, he's crossed out as CFO. Because he was the CFO of Cincy and Bricks and Minifigs. Wait, that was listed as a conflict? Dum, dum, dum. The plot thickens. Oh, I'm going to have to sink my teeth into that later. Thank you for the $5. Miasma Candles LLC. That's true. I don't know what that means. Okay. Come on. What? Okay, so Ben has spoken out, all right, and this was apparently, after the temporary restraining order was already put into place. Hold on, let me Oh, this is interesting. Who is it? Who's the person that created it? The band map is an AI composed source document. It was on Reddit yesterday and it was dismantled. And the person posting it works for the US government. Slightly reckless Ben. They were trying to use Twitter to get it to your @. Thank you for so they dismantled it on Reddit. Thank you for the $20, blah, blah. They were trying to use Twitter. How do they work for the government? What's their job? I want to know. Yeah, I know. I mean, it definitely seems like it was written. Like the writing style is very AI. It is interesting, if there's any validity to it, but it is something that I would need more time to kind of go over. Let's see. Hold on. What was I looking up here? I lost my train of thought on something. I don't remember now. U.S. securities? Oh, girl, please. It does make me a little bit leery, whatever. My head is spinning. Somebody said, okay, so we're going to move to so we're going to sidestep to a different topic here real quick, because guess what? Reckless Ben has spoke out. He has spoken out. He has done an exclusive interview with Chris Cuomo. Oh, I remember what I was going to try. Okay, hold on. I remember what I was doing. Hold on. Y'all are going to get a kick out of this. Okay. Chris freaking Cuomo, I swear. All right. So this is from, I don't know, probably more than 10 years ago at this point. Remember when WikiLeaks was all the rage and all of that? So this is like I said, more than 10 years ago. Remember when WikiLeaks was all the rage? And it was like a bunch of, government emails, server, whatever, Sony, whatever, this, that, the other, kind of got so-called leaked, hacked, whatever you want to call it. It was a big deal. There was a lot of stuff in there, and pretty much we're still kind of dealing with the repercussions, consequences, fallout from that. And I think actually, I won't say my opinion, but I will at least say I don't think it was necessarily the worst thing that ever happened. I'll say that. So this is a segment of Chris Cuomo. And why are we talking about this? You might be like, wait, what? How did we get to this? Well, Chris Cuomo, him right here, this came out. Oh, this is Toy Bounty Hunters. Hold on. I want to go to the actual Chris Cuomo. Yeah, here we go, right here. Reckless Ben, it was 21 hours ago. Reckless Ben just got hit with 6 lawsuits, exclusive interview. Okay, so we're talking about Chris Cuomo yesterday. He's the one who did an exclusive interview with Reckless Ben, and Reckless Ben did this interview after the TRO was already in place. We're going to watch a little bit of it. But some of the stuff that Chris Cuomo says in here, it just can't be reconciled with things he has said in the past. It just drove me absolutely crazy to hear him say some of this stuff. So this is him over 10 years ago talking about WikiLeaks. And it's only 14 seconds long. I want you to hear his position about WikiLeaks.
Also interesting is, remember, it's illegal to possess these stolen documents. It's different for the media. So everything you learn about this, you're learning from us. And in full disclosure, let's take a look at what is in there and what it means. Joining us now, CNN's.
It's illegal to look at the.
Also interesting is, remember, it's illegal to possess these stolen documents. It's different for the media. So everything you learn about this, you're learning.
Huh?
Possess these stolen
Wait, hold
documents.
on, one more time.
It's different. Also interesting is, remember, it's illegal to possess these stolen documents. It's different for the media. So everything you learn about this, you're learning from us. And in full disclosure, let's take a look.
It's illegal for the regular public to possess this stuff. It's different for the media. So Chris Cuomo 10 years ago, he is saying it's I thought it was like a jet plane right over my house. Maybe it's somebody cutting their grass. It's different for the media. So he's making a very strong distinction 10 years ago between the media and regular people. What would be illegal for me and you? Oh, the media has that privilege. Okay, got it. So let's, with that in mind, just keep that in mind. It's going to come up later. I'm going to speed this up. It is like 35 minutes. We're not going to watch all of it, but I do want to give y'all a little taste of this, and you can go and watch the full thing on your own at the Chris Cuomo Project.
And changes in the economy. It all. Welcome to Cuomo Crime Time. We got another person at the center of a major.
Oh, wait, hold on. There's something else I want to show y'all too. So that came out yesterday, but he had made these
Welcome to
statements
Cuomo Crime
previously. Okay, so he made 11 days ago a video about the Reckless Ben Lego case. Okay, but this is 11 days ago. This is before, and yesterday he does the exclusive interview.
And this is almost a little bit of a breaking situation with Reckless Ben and what's being known as the Lego controversy. I was told today I was saying it wrong when I pronounce it Lego. It's Lego. Okay, that seems to be the only part of this situation that's actually clear, okay? Because I have to tell you, there are at least 5 untold parts of this story, I'll call it, okay? And what does that mean, that you've never heard about it? Well, I want to mean untold to suggest that you either haven't heard or you've been told about it in a weird way. The first thing to look at is, man, this has a Nick Shirley vibe to it, doesn't it? And
No.
not just the performative aspects of what
It doesn't have a Nick Shirley vibe to it at all to me. Nick Shirley seems like a very obvious government plant. You can trace back what Reckless Ben has been doing for 7 years or something.
is about and what he does. Anybody who knows him knows his shtick. And I'll get to that. That's one of the 5 points. But the theatricality of going out there and creating incentive, even if it's to protect against doxing or something like that, then make it a doxing law. You know what I'm saying? That could be part of it. But again, trying to want to shut down somebody who seems to want to poke at something that the locals don't want poked at. Just put it in there, into the mix. Or
Hold
with
on,
the
I'm
family.
trying to find the specific part. Let me just scroll through this in transcript real quick, because there's something he said in here. Holding a legend. Hold on. No, really, unless the person is there's collateral damage, other businesses, other people, other entities. He's kind of criticizing Ben.
Has a lot of attention online, and it created a lot. So the idea of knowing how it's going to turn out is just it's an artificial thing to say. The next one, this controversy has a lot of attention online, and it created a lot of heat towards this collateral damage of other businesses and other people.
So clearly, he's looking down at his talking points. Somebody, maybe it's his other alter event girl. Maybe it's him and another, personality. Somebody handed him this sheet of paper to talk about, right? He's like you can tell he's in a collateral damage. Like, he's not saying full sentences. He's reading, they probably have bullet point notes on this page, right? This is June 7th. This is about 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. Listen how he's even talking about it like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
The next one. This controversy has a lot of attention online, and it created a lot of heat towards this collateral damage.
It created a lot of heat towards, this collateral damage. No, that's not your talking point. Your talking point is it created a lot of heat and it caused collateral damage. But it's like, he's obviously just looking at his notes.
Of other businesses and other people and other entities and that really have nothing to do with this. And they've just been kind of ammunition in this broader conspiracy thing. And I think it's something that you got to examine in this because I can tell you exactly how it's going to turn out.
Oh, tell us.
Okay?
Tell us.
Here's how it's going to turn
know.
out. There's never going to be a criminal case
Oh.
on the basis of what was done to deny this family. There's going to be no criminal case.
Oh,
And
okay.
the family is going to settle and they're going to get paid. And I hope it's enough to
I hope Brian Mansell knows this is how it's going to go. He's going to settle.
with what they have to deal with. I do. But it is not a fuzzy thing, and there is no other game inside the game. And for Reckless Ben, he's going to buy himself a nice car,
Oh, he is?
new equipment,
Okay.
and figure out how to invest several $100,000 additional dollars
Oh,
because of this.
is he?
And he's been riding it for years.
Oh, has he?
And I think that it'll really
This
give
is the same Chris Cuomo that yesterday now. Oh, excuse me. Let me go to this one. Yesterday now he wants to be, exclusive interview. Exclusive interview, Reckless Ben. Right? Ben responds. Reckless Ben just got hit with 6 new lawsuits. Okay. But a week and a half ago it was he's basically just riding this for clout.
him a really niche space
Niche.
in here, kind of an offshoot of Nick Shirley.
Niche, Chris. Not niche.
Again.
Oh my God, the slurp.
But I can't say the family's not a worthy cause. They are. But the idea of what he's trying to make it into doesn't make any sense.
Put a 2 in the chat if you disagree. Put a 2 in the chat if you disagree. Put a 2 in the chat if you disagree. Put a 2 in the chat if you disagree. I got a little worked up yesterday and the day before. I'm trying to control my I'm trying to control my temper a little better. But I just keep thinking about those cops with the automatic weapons, pointing them at a minor based on an unconstitutional search warrant based on misrepresentations. I just keep thinking, like when he's saying it doesn't make any sense that Reckless Ben is trying to get justice for all of this. It doesn't make any sense, Chris Cuomo said. Control my temple. I know. I'm trying. Doesn't make any sense to Chris Cuomo. Oh my God. We have to hear the slurp again.
But I can't say the family's not a worthy cause. They are. But the idea of what he's trying to make it into doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
Oh, it
But I will
doesn't?
tell you something about this that I
Tell
think
me. Let me know.
underlying all of it actually matters from a true crime perspective.
Okay, he's looking
which
at his
is
notes.
What?
What is it?
Corporate shield. Corporate shield. Corporations get away with a degree of culpability that you never would. How?
Okay, I
Because
don't really care about this. We already know that. Let me go to... Okay. All right. This is the part I really wanted y'all to hear.
and a lot of heavy things where we can't allow it to be perceived shouldn't be the way it is.
Okay.
But that is faint praise because these stories matter. This community matters. This space matters, you know, because we're
What is this man damn talking about? Whose community? Whose space? This community. You just said that it doesn't make any sense.
we have a lot of heavy investigations going on
Oh.
and a lot of heavy things where we can't allow it to be perceived as a bullshit narrative because that gets the most clicks when it may.
So again, Chris Cuomo, he hasn't even said the most offensive part yet, but I just want to remind you, that the 10 years ago clip, 11 years ago clip, where he said, it's illegal if you regular people, if you regulars want to look at the WikiLeaks. Only the media has to tell you what the WikiLeaks are saying. And also, Reckless Ben doesn't make any sense. I mean, he's stupid. He doesn't make any sense, according to Chris Cuomo. But the investigations that Chris Cuomo is working on, oh, these are important. These are heavy. These are real.
Couldn't be the way it is. But that is faint praise, because these stories matter. This community matters. This space matters. You know, because we have a lot of heavy investigations going on.
Heavy.
And a lot of heavy
Emphasis on heavy. We have a lot of heavy investigations going, meaning we're doing better and more important work than a silly little reckless Ben.
Where we can't allow it to be perceived as a bullshit narrative because that gets the most clicks, when it may really mess with something that matters in terms of public policy. You see what I'm saying?
No.
So this kind of story getting this much
all.
attention first, you know, it's like, man, too bad. There's so many other situations. You know, if you want a whodunit.
Look at the views on this video. It has 10,000 views, 10,200 views. By the time I get off this live stream with my little 15,000 followers on this channel, it's going to at least have 10,000. So the public has spoken. The public has spoken. I never in my wildest imagination, and I have a very wild imagination, would have thought over 1,000 people today, over 2,000 people would want to sit and listen to me reading corporate documents and deleted Wayback Machine links. But here we are. So, I mean, the public has spoken. The public has spoken. The people have decided that this is an important issue to them and to us. Chris Cuomo was crashing out about it a week and a half ago. Crashing out about it. We're doing heavy lifting. We're doing important stories. I wish somebody would care about what I'm doing. Look at me. Me. Meanwhile, Reckless Ben has been being shadow banned. He was homeless for years because his videos weren't making any money. And he was exposing cults, abusers, people who were torturing. He didn't make money off of that very much. Now he's started to make money. But this is after years and years of no institutional support. This is all verifiable in the public record. And red-eyed, long in the tooth, Chris Cuomo, needing some pomade for his hair, needing to splash some water on his face, was crashing out about the attention the story was getting. Look at his face. He is contorted in the face. He's so pissed that he's not getting enough attention.
When it may really mess with something that matters in terms of public policy. You see what I'm saying? So this kind
What's
of
going to get the most
and
clicks?
a lot of heavy things.
What's going to get the most clicks is definitely not exposing corruption. I can speak firsthand to that. If I make a video about, you know, some drama, something silly, it often gets way more views than if I'm deep in the cut trying to show y'all a corporate document. That's just how it goes. People want to be entertained more than usually they want to learn. Now, of course, that's not everybody, and that's not an indictment. It's nothing bad. It's, yeah, if you're working all day, you want to sit down and watch something on YouTube that's entertaining. So you don't want to be going through all these tax and corporate documents. But he's acting like this is some type of something he's so confused about. We have heavy investigations. Listen how pissed. I'm going to let it run now. Listen how pissed he is that nobody cares about his little stories. And they care more about what Ben is doing.
This community matters. This space matters. You know, because we have a lot of heavy investigations going on. And a lot of heavy things where we can't allow it to be perceived as a bullshit narrative because that gets the most clicks, when it may really mess with something that matters in terms of public policy.
Shut up.
See what I'm saying? So this kind of story getting this much attention first, you know, it's like, man, too bad. There's so many other situations. You know, if you want a whodunit and what the answer to the mystery is, this is mostly manufactured mystery. You know, take a look at a case like Kiera Coles and find out.
He's mad that he doesn't have the power and the authority to move the needle. He's pissed. And instead of actually, I don't know, getting good at his job, didn't he get fired from his job? He wanted to be a YouTuber. Well, guess what, bitch? This is what we do over here. We decide what story we're going to talk about. Nobody at NBC, ABC, wherever LMNOP he was working for is handing down stories to us. Nobody is handing this down to us. We take all the risk and most of the time don't get views. Most YouTubers are not drowning in views. He's pissed. And he's making up fantasies. The mystery, the mystery of the Reckless Ben Lego saga is mostly manufactured, this crazy lunatic said just days ago. If you want to look at a real story, look at the Kiera whoever story. And probably whatever he's talking about is probably needs to be looked at for sure. But it's like he's like this like old, he's like an icon, and I don't say that in a good way, like an emblem for the dying institution of mainstream corporate media, where they used to be able to send Chris Cuomo on the screen and tell us it's illegal for you to even look into this story yourself. You can only hear it from us. It's against the law. You could get arrested. You could go to jail to even look into the story of the WikiLeaks. And now he's still doing it. Y'all are worrying about what this silly YouTuber is doing. What about what I'm doing on my channel? Bitch, the people have spoken. They don't want to hear you talking to us like you're our daddy. What has Chris Cuomo damn ever done for you or me or us other than threaten us that we're going to get arrested if we look at the WikiLeaks? He's working on real stories. Oh.
First, it's like, man, too bad this narrative, because that gets the most clicks when it may really mess with something that matters in terms of public policy. You see what I'm saying? So this kind of story getting this much attention first, it's like, man, too bad. There's so many other situations. If you want a whodunit and what the answer to the mystery is, this is mostly manufactured mystery.
No, it isn't.
Take a look at a case like Kiera Coles and find out how they never made a move on a guy who allegedly lied to them in ways that may have put him as the last person to see this beautiful 27-year-old postal worker who was 3 months pregnant, allegedly, with his child.
Look at him,
That's a real mystery that deserves the hundreds of thousands of views, the millions of views that this is getting.
He's mad he ain't getting views.
My opinion.
With his 10,000 views on this video.
So we got to take it seriously. We got to get it right. And that's what we're trying to do here on Cuomo Crime Time. And that may not make us the most sexy, but I'm shooting for...
I'll put a 3 in the chat if you agree he ain't the most sexy. Three.
The most trusty in terms of, being able to rely that our analysis is going to lead you in the right direction.
Bitch, you definitely not the most trusty. What the hell does that even mean?
But I'm shooting. We got to take it seriously. We got to get it right. And that's what we're trying to do here on Cuomo Crime Time.
That's what we're trying to do here.
And that may not make us the most sexy, but I'm shooting for the most trusty. In terms of...
Okay, well, look, he basically disparaged Ben, called him a clout chaser, called him a click mongerer, said he was doing more important stuff than Ben. He was doing heavier lifting than Ben. 10, 15 years ago, 13 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it was, he was telling us we were going to get arrested for looking into WikiLeaks, and only the media could tell us the truth about it. It's different for them. They won't get arrested. Well, you said the quiet part out loud on that one. Okay, so here's his interview with Ben, some of it.
And contracts and, equity and, like, really big ideas.
So even though, he wasn't interested in this story and it was just such a shame because nobody cared about Kiera Coles and nobody cared about what this old coot was saying, now, less than 2 weeks later, he's got to have the exclusive interview. No sexy. I thought he didn't care about this case. I thought it was a manufactured mystery.
Involving the police, it's involving litigation, and he just was given a TRO against him, meaning that whoever he's in litigation with, and now he's afraid to talk about it because under advice of counsel, he's got problems, as you're about to hear in a second. But they're saying you can't say the things that you want to say anymore. And it's a really interesting test of the power of the internet, the power of the law, and how those two go together. And what is justice in this situation? Just because a company doesn't like what he's saying and what he's doing doesn't mean that he should be silenced.
Wait.
And for how long?
Did the man switch alters? Has he been cloned? This is an extremely different position than the one he took a week and a half ago.
There's a deadline coming, and even though he is exposed to risk, I guess living up to his name as Reckless Ben, he decided to talk to me anyway and to tell me what just happened and what may happen next and why.
This clout-chasing lunatic probably sought this interview out and is still holding it against Ben. What the fuck? He said, living up to his name, he still decided to talk to me. Why do you have him on then?
Doing all this in the first place. He had a nice little business going for himself. Now he's getting more clicks, but there's a lot more controversy. There's a lot more risk for Reckless Ben. So here's the latest right from him. Ben, thank you for taking the opportunity.
Trusty.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me on.
All right, so Reckless Ben Schneider. First, before you give me the latest on the Lego situation, what do you make of what's going on with the drama surrounding this in general? How do you process what's going on here?
Dude, it's insane. Basically, I've been making videos for 6 years, and every time I put something out, it gets like age restricted or shadow banned and taken down.
Trusty.
And I've never really gotten the chance to go viral, so I kind of just thought I was just gonna post this and then just move on to the next video. But yeah, it's kind of like broken the internet almost. It's kind of crazy how big this whole thing's gotten.
How did you come upon this situation, which is pretty discreet situation, right? I mean, one family, a private family, bricks and minifigs,
A private family. You're just imposing on these poor people. They're just a private family. How'd you get your claws into this story in the first place, Ben?
Just a contract dispute. How did you learn about this, and why'd you decide to get involved?
So basically, I put at the end of my last video, I found this guy who basically was like super anonymous. I went on this huge journey to find him, and the cops couldn't find him or anything.
Okay, we know this story. I'm gonna fast forward.
About Legos, and we're like, that's like kind of family friendly. Maybe if we do a video on this, that could be cool. And because I was just so tired of getting like shadow banned and stuff, and from doing like kind of gnarly stuff, so I was like, maybe I can take my.
What has always been true. There is a reason.
Oh, this is an ad.
With the Better Business, with your first, or text
Gold.
Cuomo out a brand of Reckless Ben.
Watch him read. Watch him read from his little points. Watch him read.
So it's such an interesting departure from what you used to do, what you see as the brand of Reckless Ben. What do you make of the pivot towards crime investigating, citizen journalism, and whether or not this is the space for you? How do you feel about it now with all that's going down with this case?
So the first thing is I'm kind of not really allowed to talk about the case right now, which sucks. I just want to be an open book and talk as much as I can, because like, my whole thing is I just want to be transparent. I hate it when people are like, oh, my lawyer said I shouldn't talk about this, so I'm not going to do it. I think that's so annoying. But in this case, not my lawyer saying that. It's literally the court saying that. So if I talk about it, they will literally just send me to jail. It makes me so mad when people are like, oh, I can't talk about this because my lawyer said it's a bad idea. It could be getting me in trouble. And I always hate that. I'm like, I'll talk about it. I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide. Like I can just talk about anything. But in this rare situation, there's actually a court order that I'm not allowed to talk about it. And if I talk about it, not only do I go to jail, but the entire GoFundMe that's made for Brian will now go to this mystery company I'm not allowed to talk about. And they're doing that because they said I made bomb threats on them. They said I threatened to murder everyone in this mystery company store. I was going to murder them. I'm going to burn the whole place down is what they said. And this is a factual statement. I never said those things. But they are saying I did say those things. That's not disparaging them to say that, but that's just a truthful statement. And that's pretty much all I can say about the case, I guess, right now, which sucks. I want to talk about it so bad. I want to just be an open book and say.
Well, first of all, you have the opportunity going forward. You have your own platform. You're always welcome on mine as well. But just so
Okay.
Understand, how do you feel about a court silencing you? Because a TRO and telling people what they can and can't say, especially when it's not part of a specific litigation, is very rare. So why do you think this is happening?
If I said why I think it's happening, it might make the judge upset, and then he might change it from a temporary restraining order to a permanent restraining order. So I'm going to keep my personal opinions on the down low until after the case, because right now, basically what my lawyer says, just basically suck up to this judge, basically just do whatever it takes to get this restraining order taken off and don't jeopardize it. So on June.
Okay, so breaking news. I mean, it has been now confirmed from Ben's mouth himself. He has a lawyer. Can y'all relax now? He has a lawyer. He just said it. He has a lawyer. Now, I think the lawyer maybe is not on the 2 criminal cases, but you'll have to remember those are misdemeanors. Those are misdemeanor cases. He's not facing really even that much jail time. He is facing some jail time. And if I were Ben, I do think I am a little bit more cautious than Ben, just in general. That doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's just everybody has to decide what their tolerance is for risk. And I think I have a lower risk tolerance than Ben. But it's misdemeanor cases. For the RICO case, Ben has a lawyer. He just said it himself. Listen closely.
Lawyer says just basically suck up to this judge. So I'm going to keep my personal opinions on the down low until after the case, because right now, basically what my lawyer says, just basically suck up to this judge, basically just do whatever it takes to get this restraining order taken off and don't jeopardize it. So on June 30th, I should be able to answer that question.
So do you think that this is the company using the system against you?
I don't
He wants Ben to say, yeah.
think that. A lot of the internet thinks that, I think, but I don't think this mystery company would ever do that. No.
But it's such a weird situation for this to be happening. And just to be clear, you say that any suggestion that you made threats is not true. And as far as you know, nobody connected to your team made any threats?
And here's the thing. We filmed.
This feels like a deposition. I'm going to just say that. It feels like an interrogation.
Every single thing we do, and I've submitted the footage to the police already, and the police have seen that. Not only am I claiming I did not make the threats, I've sent the footage to the police, and the police have seen that I did not make these threats, and yet I'm still being charged for them. So,
well, you're not being charged. It's a civil suit, right? It's not a criminal.
He is being charged for some of this stuff, Chris. Maybe try to keep up with the case for the people you're interviewing.
Situation. It's a civil situation, right?
It's a criminal situation. There's 2.
I'm in like 6 lawsuits right now. They're trying to get me for, I think, extortion for making these threats, and say I am in a criminal case because of that also. So it's insane what's happening, but yeah.
And is this what you anticipated happening? Is this part of your reckless style of knowing that there was a risk of
Your reckless style.
and going forward anyway, or is this a surprise to you?
Yeah, this is definitely a surprise. I thought I was just gonna do a video and then move on to the next video, you know. But I mean, it's good. I like it. It's like, I like the extra stuff that's happening. It's more stuff I can document on now once I'm allowed to. But as of now, this kind of sucks. I just can't talk right now. It's really sad.
Well, let me see if I can keep you clear of it and just make people understand what you've been doing. So they came after you and said, hey, he's not protesting. He's not trying to get information. He's not serving us with litigation papers. He's just taunting us. He's stalking us.
Look at the strategic clips, the strategic footage that this jealous geriatric op put in. He put in specifically, I mean, they only put a few clips in here, a few seconds worth. And he's like, let me see if I can help you. Let me see if I can help you clear it up. They say you weren't doing anything lawful. They say you weren't serving papers. They say you weren't just exercising your right to protest. They say you weren't trying to do something within your rights. They say that you were taunting them. And he puts video evidence, or what appears to be video evidence, of a specific portion, a specific angle. Now, I'm not saying it was wrong. That is something that Ben did do. He did go and he put it in his own videos as well. But it's like, when you're watching propaganda, or excuse me, when you're watching the news and, you know, these mainstream shills, you do have to like think about the fact that like there's editors that sit down, and out of all of the hours and hours of footage that they could overlay here, look what they chose.
They came after you and said, hey, he's not protesting. He's not trying to get information. He's not serving us with litigation papers. He's just taunting us. He's stalking us. Or what do you want people to know about whether or not that's true?
So that's up for the court to decide whether I was stalking and taunting them. My opinion, I was trying not to. I was trying not to do that, but that's not the narrative that's being spun right now. So I guess we'll see what a court decides on the 30th.
Are you worried?
No, I'm excited, actually. I'm just that date's gonna be like Christmas to me. You know, it's gonna be like,
He said, no, I'm excited, actually. Like, it's going to be basically like Christmas to me. I'm not worried in the least.
I'm just waiting for that day to come, because right now all I can do is just wait. And I'm making a lot of videos, so there'll be a lot of new updates.
He's having some connection issues. That's like not my computer. That's how it played when I watched it the first time too.
Kind of creating a huge backlog right now, and
but he is working on videos and creating a huge backlog right now, which was good to find out.
On the 30th, then I can finally be allowed to talk again, if the court rules in my favor.
Look, we all know the phone has positives and negatives, like
Shut up.
Morgan and Chain. to court, and they've gotten a restraining order. Somebody that he's up against in this, and we can all imagine who is hot.
Oh my God. Stroke.
Ben's having technical difficulties, which are kind of a metaphor for the situation he's in, where the system does seem to be clamping down on him. Such a hot situation. Even his phone is hot. You heard what I said. He is dealing with the latest in this, which is that somebody that he's up against in this, and we can all imagine who that is. It's got to be the corporate entity behind this dispute with the family over their Legos, has gone to court, and they've gotten a restraining order, a temporary restraining order, which is what?
Something they also do in propaganda a lot, you see this with the Charlie Kirk case as well, is they will call it the family. This has also been something that I have faced in like the Bam Margera coverage, my Britney Spears coverage, my Dahlia and Dia Takali coverage, is when the powers that be don't like you meddling in the stuff that they're doing, they'll then start to emphasize that there's a family. There's a family. The family. Britney's family doesn't want the Free Britney movement to look into the conservatorship. Well, I guess they do not. They were the biggest beneficiaries. I guess they don't want us looking into it. They were the biggest beneficiaries. The dad was the conservator. Bam Margera, the family, doesn't like the Free Bam movement. Well, Bam wasn't even talking to his family. He didn't want to talk to them. So they'll start to emphasize the family. And it's like, this family. Bitch, what were the family doing? What about the family who had their Legos stolen? What about the family who had their store and their inventory repossessed? You don't focus on that aspect of the family.
A legal decision by
the family Ben was trying to help. He don't focus on that, but he just wants to focus on the fact that there's a family that runs this crooked business, crooked in my opinion, innocent until proven guilty.
The corporate entity behind this dispute, with the latest in this, which is that somebody that he's up against in this, and we can all imagine who that
Bricks
is.
and
It's got to be
Minifigs.
the corporate entity behind this dispute with the family over their Legos, has gone to court, and they've gotten a restraining order, a temporary restraining order, which is what? A legal decision by this federal district court that Ben is saying things that they believe are threatening and defamatory, and the judge agreed with them temporarily, so now he's got to go to court, which, look, I think has
The judge agreed with them temporarily ex parte. He leaves that out. Ben did not get a moment before this judge. The judge has to, by law, take everything the plaintiffs say in their allegations as if it is true. But everything they said is not true. Some of the stuff they said is actually false.
serious implications on a free speech level, because what Ben is doing, you can like it, you can not like it, but it's pretty clear that he has a right to do it. And just because a corporation doesn't like how he's doing it,
What is this switch up? He was calling him a reckless, clout chasing, money grabbing click mongerer a week and a half ago. What is this change up? Now Ben has the right to do it?
you have him getting silenced for any amount of time. It's very suspicious legally. And it will be resolved at the end of the month.
I agree, but where did this opinion come from all of a sudden?
So can you see and hear me, Ben? I see you now.
Yeah, I can see and hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just kind of pleading your case to my audience about how weird this is. That, you know, you're just trying to bring attention to this and create a narrative of what you think happened here. And it seems to be getting pretty hot and pretty sticky, and you say you're okay with it.
I might have to be. No, I am really sad actually that it's happening, but I mean, I can't control how. I was just talking this with some of my friends the other day. Like, you can't control anything external. Like, I literally could not control this. Like, I was not in the courtroom. I was not allowed to share my side of the story. The court only heard this mystery company side of the story. And so because I didn't get to share my side, I literally could not do anything to prevent this. So I was telling my friends, like, okay, we can't control our external situation. We can only control how we react to it, you know? So, like, I can choose to be sad, or I can choose.
It's not stoic. That's not stoicism. That's not what that is. It's very stoic. No, it's not very stoic. If anything, it's Vedantic. It's Vedantic. If anything, it's, you have no, there's this very important lesson from like this, one of the oldest books that there is, really, the Bhagavad Gita from the Mahabharata. And they say, you know, Krishna, you know, one of the blue, you know, guys from Hinduism or whatever, he says, you don't have any right to expect fruits from your labor. You shouldn't expect the outcome. You shouldn't expect fruits from your labor. You should do the right thing and not expect anything from it. If you get wages, if you get fame, if you get power, good for you. But don't freak out over stuff you can't control. I mean, this is in the AA, what's the AA serenity prayer that they do over there in the AA all the time? The serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to change the things I can change, or whatever, the wisdom to know the difference, or whatever, courage to change the things I could change, the wisdom to know the difference. This is not with stoicism. I'm not really sure about stoicism, but here's Chris Cuomo trying very hard to engage in an academic conversation. No idea what he's talking about.
Could not do anything to prevent this. So I was telling my friends, like, okay, we can't control our external situation. We can only control how we react to it, you know? So like I can choose to be sad, or I can choose to be happy, you know, and like that's what I can choose. I'm gonna choose to like at least be happy, you know, even though this terrible thing's happening to me.
That's very Afro Man. Afro Man has a song that came out on the Lemon Pound Cake, the Lemon Pound Cake album, and the chorus is, "I'ma have a good time, even though times are bad, so bad," and it's like, "I'ma be happy, even when the world is sad, so sad." It's like, good for them. Good for him. I can't play the song because it gets copyright struck.
Yeah, I can only choose how I react to things. I can't control external things. So, yeah.
You were saying before that this situation has made you think about your path as a content creator, and you see an easy path and a hard path, you were saying. And what does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, a lot of the times it's been like, when I see people that go viral online and stuff, they just do the stupidest thing for like clicks and likes and stuff. And I feel like I could go so viral. So like I could have gone so viral like 5-6 years ago if I would have just like taken the easy route and just followed trends, you know, and just, oh, this is what's popular. Okay, just do this. This will go viral, you know. But I chose not to do that because I don't really care about like going viral. Like if I go viral, it's a cool like side effect of what I'm doing. But like what I really care about is telling a cool story and like helping people, you know, and solving mysteries.
Look at Chris looking down at his talking points. Is he texting somebody? Look, it looks like he's texting in class. Look at him. He ain't paying attention.
And like when I see people that go viral online and stuff, they just do the stupidest thing for like clicks and likes and stuff. And I feel like I could go so viral. So like I could have gone so viral like 5-6 years ago if I would have just like taken the easy route and just followed trends, you know, and just, oh, this is what's popular. Okay, just do this. This will go viral, you know. But I chose not to do that because I don't really care about like going viral. Like if I go viral, it's a cool like side effect of what I'm doing. But like what I really care about
is he ordering his DoorDash or something? Like what the hell?
Telling a cool story and like helping people, you know, and solving mysteries. Like that's something that I
Chris is checked out
about those three things 1,000 times more than going viral. So like, and you can see if you look at my past videos, like I've always been solving like crazy mysteries. I've always been like going on cool adventures and like helping people and like doing things like that. And I've never gone viral before. So,
girl, he is zoned out.
I don't really care about viral. And obviously like I continue to do these things knowing that I'm probably not going to go viral, but I just do it because I like helping people and I like solving mysteries. I just like going on cool adventures, you know?
It's such an interesting shift. I mean, I saw your content of slacklining.
It's really not that interesting. I mean, it is interesting, but it's like not like when he was slacklining, he was in his early 20s, like 20 years old, 25. He's like 30 years old now. Like people start to realize that they want to do other things. It's such an interesting shift. You mean like kind of like the interesting shift that Chris Cuomo took from being a mainstream respected news anchor to a failed YouTuber? That's a pretty interesting shift to me. Why don't we talk about you, Chris?
Literally walking a tightrope, and you went from doing it literally to now kind of doing it figuratively in terms of like walking this what can be a pretty precarious,
this is the most damning admission of the whole interview in my opinion, because Chris Cuomo is comparing what Ben is doing here to slacklining, which is like, you know, when he does it like above 1,000-foot canyon or whatever, it's pretty freaking dangerous. It shouldn't actually be dangerous. It shouldn't be dangerous to expect fairness and justice. It shouldn't be dangerous and precarious and life-threatening to try to investigate where $100,000 worth of Legos is. That it shouldn't be dangerous. But here is Chris, supposedly a lifelong journalist, saying, well, what made you stop slacklining? across canyons and start wanting to venture into the very dangerous world of exposing the truth, just simply exposing the truth, the public to the truth. It's insane to me that he even admits it like this. It's actually insane. Is the man on drugs? I don't know.
Slacklining, you know, literally walking a tightrope, and you went from doing it literally to now kind of doing it figuratively in terms of like walking this, what can be a pretty precarious, a pretty reckless, you know, a dangerous, not reckless, but a dangerous line, taking on people in positions of power.
It's not dangerous. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of just liked to do things that push myself, because I think that's where you get the most fulfillment in life, is if you're constantly like pushing your comfort zone. So I love just anything that pushes my comfort zone. I love it so much. And so, yeah, like standing up to a mystery business that does sketchy things, that is like pushing my comfort zone. You know, it's uncomfortable for like a small YouTuber to stand up to this big company. You know, that's something that pushes my comfort zone. It's pushing my comfort zone to walk a slack line like 1,000 feet in the air. That's pushing my comfort zone. So just anything that pushes my comfort zone, I love it. I think that's the best way to like live life.
Do you think that you took on more risk here than you knew?
It's almost like temperature check. How you feeling, Ben? You scared? You feel like you took on a little more risk? Are you surprised? You thought you were going to just come out of this scot-free? I would like to remind everybody, in case you didn't know, it might be your first time finding out, every story that Ben does, he gets sued. There's been one he didn't get sued. This ain't his first, second, third, fourth rodeo. He always gets sued. Do you think you took on more risk this time?
None.
No.
No.
'Cause the thing is the more the story grows, obviously the more viral it gets, the more risk there is, because now there's more brand damage the more viral it goes. But then also the more public support you have, and then with the more public support, the more resources you're able to get to fight the allegations and stuff. So it kind of equals out, I guess. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like, I don't know, it's not the craziest video I've ever done, I don't think.
He's like, no, I literally just like did an investigation into a Lego store. Like, it's really not that serious.
It's crazy what it means to people. Like, when you think about what it means, why do you think it matters so much to people? It can't be that they care about whether it's 100 grand or 200 grand worth.
It's like he's trying to get intel for the McNeffs or something. Like, they don't know why people care. It's very strange. Like, I used to get questions like this all the time when I was interviewing for like the Free Britney movement. It was like the journalists were truly astonished. They were like, were you a Britney Spears fan? And I'm like, no. I mean, it sounds mean if you're like, no, but like, no, I wasn't checking for her. I didn't have her CDs. I didn't have her albums. I didn't have a poster of her when I was growing up. I didn't want to be her. If anything, I was kind of like, with her, because my name was Brittany and I'm from Louisiana. But they would ask, were you a fan? And then I would say no. And then they would be like astonished. They were like, why are you doing that? Why do you care about this story then? Like, why do you care about this? It was like they didn't get it. And this is like, it feels like the same type of question. Like, why do you think people care so much? Well, I mean, I think people have compassion and empathy. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Well, it's crazy what it means to people. Like, when you think about what it means, why do you think it matters so much to people? It can't be that they care about whether it's 100 grand or 200 grand worth of minifigs. It can't be that. What do you think it is that matters to people about this that has caught on?
Yeah, because most people that watch it don't really care about Legos. Like, I'll say for me, I would never ever click on an hour and a half long video about Legos, but I think the story's so interesting, and it has more. It's not really just about Legos. It's about power. It's about how the story, at least, is about how a company can take power and like be in the wrong, but use their power and like money and resources to bully the little guy, you know? And that's what the story's ultimately about. It just happens to be done around Legos, you know? But it's not about Legos. It's about power and bullying and like corporate greed, you know? And
do you feel that you owe a service to the family involved and, like, you know, their perspective on this?
Which family? Which family?
What does that mean to you?
Look at this clip. Take a gander at the clip they chose to include. Now, look, I've already criticized this clip myself. I don't think that you should put, you're going to do illegal activity in your video. I don't think you should do illegal activity. I personally believe this is hyperbole and a joke. I don't think he really was saying, oh, we're going to commit crimes and do illegal activity. But here's Cuomo including that specific part as the overlay in the video.
I don't know. I just like helping people, I guess. It's just fun for me. So I just told him, I was like, hey, like I like challenges, like I like things that are like really hard, like kind of like you were saying with the slacklining. Like I'm gonna walk from like this cliff to this cliff 1,000 feet in the air on a slack. Like it seems impossible, and I'm like, challenge accepted,
Crazy.
So the harder it is to get these Legos back for the family, the more fun it is for me, So
We got a Jayoma.
I wouldn't say I like owe it to them or anything, but I just think it's a fun challenge.
So he's talking about the man cells, I think, that family.
Been a blast on the adventure, I think it's really fun. And so like for every like week that the Legos haven't gotten back yet, I'm just like, oh, it's an extra week that I get to go on this adventure, So I just told him, like, I'm just not going to stop until I get you the Legos back,
So you don't have, there's no part of you that is feeling right now like, wow, this is getting kind of heavy and it's not really worth it. I'm going to go
no,
do
it's definitely
something
worth
else.
it. Oh, heck no. No, it's so fun for me.
Tell
yeah,
him, Ben.
The bigger the challenge, the greater the reward. I've always said that my whole life.
Tell him.
No pain, no gain,
Period.
So if there's no challenge, then what's the adventure in that, like the adventure is, okay, let's find something challenging and let's figure out a way to solve this problem. I don't know. I was in mechanical engineering in college, and that's basically what all I spent college. They just give you a really hard like math problem or something. They give you some type of problem to solve. And now, okay, I'm an engineer. I got to go in and design a contraption and figure out a way to solve this, and I just love doing that so much. So the bigger the challenge, the more fun I'm having,
Do you, when you look at how you got to this point on this story, are you comfortable with all of the decisions you made about what to shoot and how to shoot it and how to tell this story to this point?
Yeah.
Are you comfortable? What in the hell, narc-ass kind of question is that? And look, you notice they haven't included any pictures of the police raid. They haven't included any video footage of them pointing guns at a group of innocent people. They haven't included any photographs of the judges. They only keep putting this like sort of behind the scenes and like silly footage in here. I think it's on purpose to try to paint a certain picture and paint Ben in a certain light, which is ironic to me and also hypocritical, because just in that video we watched that Chris Cuomo put out just about a week and a half ago, he was criticizing Ben for exactly this, making a bullshit narrative. Chris Cuomo's show, this podcast he has, is only painting one side of the story with the overlay that he's putting in here.
Made the best decision I could have made at the time. I mean, obviously, looking back, I made a ton of mistakes, but I do that. Like everyone makes mistakes. That's what makes us human, So I made a bunch of mistakes that, like in hindsight, you see now. But like when you're in the moment and like with the information I had, I didn't have hindsight, I guess. So I think I made the best decision I could have made for every decision with the information I had at the time. I think every person does that. I think like it's easy to look back and be like, oh, well, knowing what we know now, I should have done this. But we don't have that hindsight in the moment,
Any mistake that you made, what do you want people to know about why it should be seen as a mistake?
So Ben said, yeah, I mean, I made some mistakes. So now Chris, he admitted to a mistake. So what do you want to know? How do you talk about that? Talk about that. Y'all, I'll be astonished and shocked. I'll be shocked if anything he says in this interview doesn't get used in this court case. I am pretty sure some of the things he says in this interview are going to be used in the court case against him, whether that was, originally planned out or not. Now, is it going to be used against him in a way that I think is right, fair, constitutional, legal? No. But I've learned that these degenerated buffoons who try to use lawfare to silence people, they will lie about you and they will take your words and twist it. They will take you doing a little boom effect in your video and say that it was a violent threat to kill somebody, while they're the ones that have guns show up to your house.
Something that you did to intentionally get something wrong or to give the company a bad name?
Okay, I can't really get into this, but I'll give you some specifics on June 30th. But I don't know. Like, there's probably a couple things where I might have gotten like these are just like small details that I might have got like wrong, I guess. But with the information I had,
he's like, yeah. Tell me. Let me get my bonus.
It's like I guess the collection.
Is he tapping his foot or typing?
Wasn't actually worth $200,000. It was worth maybe around $120,000, and that was they inflated the price due to marketing reasons and stuff. But I guess that number kind of caught on. So every single person that told me about this story, like every character in the story.
Okay, someone's like, no, Ben, don't say it. Ben, no, Ben, stop. Ben handles this like a champ. Just wait and listen what he says.
It was like, this is a $200,000 set. Like, you could sell these sets for up to $200,000. So that was, I guess, probably the biggest mistake I probably made. But Yeah.
When you look out there now at the landscape, do you have people giving you ideas of other mysteries to take on, other investigations for people? And
He said, I got that figure from the like official corporate that they said that. They said it was worth $200,000 on their official page. So what, I mean, we can't rely on things they put out in the public?
any outfit that you look at or any person and say, I want to do what they're doing?
I want to take on every mystery. I have an email just set up just for this where I just have like probably 10,000 ideas by now. And I wish I could do every single one because all of that, like almost every single idea I've got, I mean, I guess there's a few bad ones, but almost every single idea is just so good. And I just wish I could do them all. Like if I lived for eternity and I could just do them all, I'd be so happy. But sadly, we only have probably like 100 years on Earth maybe. So I can't get to all of them. But I don't know. Yeah, some of the ideas are really good and I'm excited to do more.
The goal here is to help this family because they need the money for health care, and you want to make sure that the powerful don't get away with something that's not fair. Do you know what your next is?
Oh, yeah, I'm working on 12 ideas right now.
No, Ben's not driving. He's very obviously sitting still in a car.
I basically just picked like 10 of like the best ideas, and I was like, I'm just going to do all these at once. And the Lego one just came out first because it's kind of one of the more simple ones, but there's a lot that are even, I'd say even way crazier than the Lego video that are going to be coming out very soon. So that's exciting.
But how do you plan to, like, if you have to investigate things, like, are you going to staff up differently or, you know what I mean? Like, how do you intend to, like, investigate?
Chris keeps trying to ask Ben to like admit he did something wrong, and he just isn't. He's like, no, I mean, this is pretty much how I've been doing things for a long time, Chris. Like, I've been doing this for 3 years. Like, this isn't new. This isn't like, oh, I did it this way this first time. Like, every time he does a story, he gets sued. Are you going to do anything differently? Did you hear the guy just say that he's having fun and he's excited and he likes it? Why would he do something different?
Real mysteries.
I don't know. I had some fans hit me up. They're like, I can hack stuff, or like, I know OSINT, and I just put them on a Discord together and we just started,
He's literally not driving. The same thing has been in the background the whole time.
solving crimes and stuff. And yeah. Right.
And
Chris is astonished.
Put them on a Discord together and we just started, just solving crimes and stuff.
He's
and
like,
yeah. Right.
And you feel that you've found a new purpose? Like, do you think like this?
He's been doing this for years. This is not new. This is not new. This is his job he's been doing.
What it's going to be? This is what Reckless Ben is now?
It's always been.
I mean, I don't know. I've been doing it for probably like 3 years now, starting with the McCain Manor stuff. He ran this like torture ring where he would like bring people. He would pretend like he had the world's best haunted house, and then take people there. And he didn't have a haunted house. He would just torture people. And I kind of shut that whole thing down. And then ever since that, I was like, oh, maybe I should start doing stuff like this. Like, because the police were trying to shut him down for forever, and they never could. So I was like, maybe the power of the internet is more powerful than the police. I don't know, because I guess like myself, I couldn't shut down McCain Manor. He got shut down because the internet shut him down. I just made a cool story on it, and then I got the internet involved. But ultimately, the internet's what did it. So that's kind of what I started thinking. I was like, I think the internet might be more powerful than like our law enforcement now. So I was like, maybe I can just do like compelling documentaries and stuff. And if the police can't shut them down, then we'll have the internet do it,
Well, I got to tell you, I know that you have to be careful, and that's part of doing this job, by the way. It's one thing, when you can just get away with whatever you do. It's another thing when people may come after you for the decisions that you make.
You can get away with whatever you do. Get away with holding power accountable? What the are you talking about? This man, oh my God.
I know that you have to be careful, and that's part of doing this.
Be careful. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Ugh, I hate when people tell me be careful. Of what? Unless somebody's gonna show up at my house with a gun and kill me, leave me alone.
Job, by the way. It's one thing, when you can just get away with whatever you do. It's another thing when people may come after you for the decisions that you make. Welcome to my world.
When has he been gone after? When has he been gone after?
And that's part of doing this job, by the way. It's one thing, when you can just get away with whatever you do. It's another thing when people may come after you for the decisions that you make. Welcome to my world, where, you got to think about what you say and what you put out and whether or not you can back it up in a way that would withstand somebody suing you over it. It's a very different standard than just
This uninitiated novice is clearly unfamiliar with Benjamin Paul Schneider, aka Reckless Ben. He has been sued for what he has said many times. Why is this being said like as if now you're gonna have to do something different because now you're welcome to my world? Welcome to your world. Didn't you get fired for like molesting somebody or something? Let's leave your world out of this, buddy.
Making an assessment about whether or not what you're doing is going to get you hurt physically.
Let me look it up. Why did Chris Cuomo get fired for he sues me for defamation? Oh, improperly? Oh, right. It was his brother. It was his brother. Excuse me. Strike that, Your Honor. Strike that. Strike the previous statement. CNN fired Chris Cuomo for breaching journalistic ethics by improperly assisting his brother, the former New York governor. So he's actually very familiar, based on public reporting, with helping tyranny, with helping in propaganda for his family, for his friends. His brother, who was at one point, governor of the whole state of New York, he had been accused of sexual harassment. An internal investigation was done, and released documents revealed that Chris Cuomo used his media connections to dig up information on his brother's accusers. Welcome to my world. No, I don't. No, Ben's not doing that. Ben's not doing that. You know what Ben is doing? He's exposing the people that are accused of this stuff. He's exposing the corruption of all the people scratching each other's back. So you're not the same. Welcome to my world. Sicko.
First of all, do I believe him? Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So mad.
The reporting checks out that there does seem to be a TRO in place in Oregon, this 4th District Court. And
nope. Nope. Put it in the chat what was wrong with that statement before I say it. What was wrong with what he just said? It was false. There does appear to be a TRO. Where? Where? Because it ain't in Oregon, you dumb.
first of all, do I believe him? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. The reporting checks out that there does seem to be a TRO in place in Oregon, this 4th District Court.
There's 2 TROs in place, and they're both in Utah. You stupid fool.
And I get the basis for it, at least on a temporary basis. But what he said in there, that he wasn't able to make a proffer, that he wasn't able to plead his case, that is something that will be remedied between now and the end of June. Because a TRO is one thing, it's an emergency situation. But to have a preliminary, versus a permanent injunction on him. Okay, you better not say that anymore. You're being warned that it is defamatory and you're going to be sued and you're going to be censored and sanctioned and all these other things under color of authority. Those are very different things, and they require due process, and he has to make his case.
Where was this energy when Ben was on the screen? It's like when Ben was on the screen, Chris Cuomo was basically trying to destroy his credibility. You gonna do anything different now, buddy? Welcome to my world where you have to be accountable for the things you say. And then Ben gets off the phone, and he's like, oh yeah, it is kind of messed up, huh?
And look, I think it's really interesting, and here's why.
Why?
I don't care about Legos. I don't care about the minifigs. I don't care about the money that's involved. I don't think that this is a thing, like there's some kind of trend of these. But then you put it in a different context.
What's this man even saying? Does he even know? I don't think it's some kind of thing, like the trend of these. What is what? English.
I think it's really interesting, and here's why. I don't care about Legos. I don't care about the minifigs. I don't care about the money that's involved. I don't think that this is a thing, like there's some kind of trend of these. But then you put it in a different context. And I'm totally here for it, which is what? What does the system empower and what does it punish? Whom does it help? Whom is it set up for? Who isn't it? Look, do I think that he's living up to his name as Reckless Ben in a different way too? Yeah. I think that he's learning on the fly. I think that the clicks are very seductive. And I think that what seems funny, like in kind of
the clicks that you weren't getting a week and a half ago when you said there's bigger stories to worry about, there's bigger things to worry about. This is all just manufactured mystery. Everybody needs to focus instead on Kiara Cole. This is a week and a half ago, June 7th. Now it's, oh yeah, the clicks are seductive. The clicks are seductive. You are click chasing yourself. You said this story wasn't even worth a damn. Now you're doing exclusive interviews? Okay.
for the show Jackass, that's now making a comeback. You know, that may seem funny as a stunt, may not be funny to a business with serious interests and serious brand concern.
And then they use him like slacklining as to imply that he's out here in front of the Bricks and Minifigs doing a slackline in his underwear or something. I mean, he did go out in front of the Bricks and Minifigs doing underwear stunts, but still, like, where's the pictures and the videos of the cops raiding these people? Where's the pictures and the videos of the cops lying? Where's the guns? Where's all of that? It's like you're going to put slacklining footage and not that? Okay.
And
why didn't he ask about the corruption of the police? He only asked about the corruption of this business. It's almost like as if somebody had, like, I don't know, given him a list of questions to ask. None of this stuff was about the cops. You notice that? Not one question about the American Fork Police Department. All about the mystery business that Chris Cuomo knows for a fact there's a temporary restraining order that Ben is not really allowed to talk about the case, isn't really allowed to talk about the underlying dispute, isn't really allowed to talk about his thoughts on the business or the people running it. He didn't ask about the police corruption, Mr. Politics Journalist of the Year, of the decade. He's already been fired before for helping somebody out in just exactly this way, using his power and his connections to make the story appear to be a certain way or to pressure victims of his disgusting brother.
Money involved.
A politician.
And families involved, you know, it can get real in a way where it is truly reckless. And maybe what you're doing isn't responsible. But I don't know the answer to those questions yet, based on what's going on here. I haven't seen anything that makes me believe that he made this up. Not the TRO, but the situation in general. And
have you seen anything at all about this story, dude?
It does seem that the little guy is getting buried under paper and under the power of privilege in terms of what a corporation
and automatic weapons. You left that part out.
Can get away with by using the system to its advantage. Now, that's not to say that they're in the wrong or they did anything wrong or it's the parent company versus the franchisee and what the contract says and what the family says and how much money they got versus how much money they're still.
God forbid he really get into the facts of the case. I mean, God forbid.
And where the stuff is and what the inventory rules were and who's at fault. All of those things I think are unresolved to a large degree. And that's fascinating in a little way. But the bigger question here, the one that really matters is.
Okay, everybody, here we go. This is the question that really matters.
What are we allowed to say and do before the government or the system gets involved to change the state of play?
Now, remember, 10 years ago, this man, 11, 12 years ago, this man saying it is against the law. Let me find that clip again. Because it just kept ringing in my head. Let me find that clip again.
Also interesting is, remember, it's illegal to possess these stolen documents. It's different for the media. So everything you learn about this, you're learning from us. And
okay, so the media is the gatekeeper. They're the only ones who can tell us.
Is what are we allowed to say and do?
He's now closing off his podcast yesterday by saying the most important question of the whole story is, what are we allowed to say or do before the government interferes?
Before the government or the system gets involved to change the state of play and play to a preference and make a decision about what's okay and what isn't and on what basis. So for me, this is getting more and more interesting. And I can't wait to see.
It wasn't interesting at all to him a week and a half ago. He was mad and jealous that people were getting clicks. He said he didn't think people should be focusing on this. It's manufactured and he wants to do heavy story, heavy, trusty. He want to be the most trusty. Okay, but now it's getting more and more interesting to him. Oh, okay, got it.
Happens on the 30th. Because look, I believe in the power of the internet. I believe in citizen journalism. I believe in it. Because, by the way, I don't believe in citizen journalism. There's just journalism.
What?
There's just people documenting things. There's just people asking questions. There's just people digging and finding facts and finding allegations and fleshing them out. That's all it is.
What? The same man that said it's illegal for you to look at something, but it's not, it's different for the media. Now, all of a sudden, 12 years later, There is no such thing as a citizen journalist, and everyone is a journalist, and there's no difference between the media and you. But 10 years ago, 11 years, 12 years ago, he said it will be, you're going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail. You have to get this information from the media. And that's why I said, did he switch alters? Is this a new personality? What the hell?
And I can't wait to see what happens on the 30th. Because, look, I believe in the power of the internet. I believe in citizen journalism. I believe in it. Because, by the way, I don't believe in citizen journalism. There's just journalism. There's just people documenting things. There's just people asking questions. There's just people digging.
So what about when it was different for the media? What about when it was different for the media? Tell me that, Chris. I'm dying to know.
Also interesting is, remember, it's illegal to possess these stolen documents. It's different for the media. So everything you learn about this, you're learning from...
Okay, so there was a very clear and obvious distinction drawn on a criminal circumstance before, and now he don't even believe that there's a difference at all. Used to be so different, you get arrested for it.
What's okay and what isn't, and on what basis. So for me, this is getting more and more interesting. And I can't wait to see what happens on the 30th. Because, look, I believe in the power of the internet. I believe in citizen journalism. I believe in it. Because, by the way, I don't believe in citizen journalism. There's just journalism.
Really?
There's just people documenting things.
Really, Chris?
There's just people asking questions.
Seriously?
There's just people digging and finding facts and finding allegations and fleshing them out. That's all it is. Whether I do it or you do it.
Cannot with this
our
circus
rights
clown.
are the same. I don't have any more right to ask questions than you do.
Right.
Under the First Amendment.
So why on earth did you say this 10, 11 years ago?
Also interesting is, remember, it's illegal to possess these stolen documents. It's different for the media. So
why did you say that then? Why did you say that then?
And fleshing them out. That's all it is. Whether I do it or you do it, our rights are the same. I don't have any more right to ask questions than you do under the First Amendment. The government doesn't have any more right to allow me to do things that it won't allow you. That's not how it works. And these are really pressing questions about the state of freedom in our country. And look, you don't have to like what Reckless Ben Schneider does. You don't have to like how he does it. You don't have to click on it. You don't have to believe him. You can think whatever you want to think.
Can I possibly give Chris Cuomo a break on something he might not have gotten right 12 years ago? Let me think about it, Jeff. No. Because he's holding Ben accountable for his little YouTube channel. That video might got 6 million views. You know how many views ABC was getting or whatever in the hell during the election cycle? CNN was getting during the election cycle when WikiLeaks was coming out and he was threatening everyday Americans. He was threatening us that we would go to jail and we had to get our information through the media only. Either he said that as a lie on purpose to scare people, or he didn't bother to vet whether or not that was true before saying it. In either case, threatened millions upon millions of Americans from looking into something we had the right to look. It is illegal to even look at it. No, I ain't going to be giving him a break. Absolutely not. You can give him a break. You can get down on your knees and give him a break all day, buddy, but it ain't going to be me.
You can think anything negative that you want to think. I don't have any problem with any of that. That's your opinion. But there's a difference between what you have a right to do and whether or not you're exercising it in a way that's right. They're very different questions. And you may be like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's hurting their chance of recovering the money and he's mucking it up and all. Okay, that doesn't mean he doesn't have the right to do it. Right? And that's what seems to be at risk here. And I think that
was like such a loaded statement, right? Like, oh yeah, I mean, he's mucking it up. I mean, he's doing some stuff wrong. I mean, but he has a right to do it. Yeah. Okay. Look, dude. Look, Grandpa, it's time for you to hang it up. You need to keep worrying about stuff like your friend over there, what's his name? Don Lemon is doing, raiding churches. He don't have nothing to say about Don Lemon. Get Don Lemon over here and let him talk about it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Something's wrong with the man. I think he has problems. I think he might be on drugs or something. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't really know what else could explain this much of a flip-flop. Something he might have not gotten right 12 years ago while he's still holding Ben accountable for something he might have not gotten right. Why would I give grace to somebody like the likes of Chris Cuomo when he don't even do it to other people? That would be stupid and foolish. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I believe in journalism. But not journalism, but I do believe in journalism. And there's no difference between me and you, but there is a difference because the media, it's different for the media. No, pick a side. Pick a freaking side. Thanks so much to Volve for the $5 Australian. Look into Dan McNeff's mentor, Jay Mitten. I have been. Thank you for the $5. Thank you to Girl Soul for the $2. Josh said he'd say Ben stole the Legos. He sure did. He sure did say that. Thank you, Carol Ann, for the $5. The Cuomos are so New York arrogant. It does surely seem that way. Thank you, Christy Perez, for the $5 super chat. LMFAOOOO, the fakes are all mad that we are in a new era and all the people really want is authenticity. Thanks so much for that $5. Thank you to Trail Tail Treats for the $39.99. Show us the comments to that clip. Which clip? Thanks so much to Christy Perez for the $2. Cuomo is a jealous op. We see you, broski. Thank you for the $2. Thank you, Pyrex, for the $1.99. Chris is big mad that Ben can pull in the ladies. Oh, he has a girlfriend. I mean, I think Chris is married, and I think that I don't think he's big mad that the ladies. I think he's big mad that Ben can pull in the views. I think that's what he's mad about. He's an attention-starved lunatic. In my opinion. Thank you so much to Interfecteras for the $5. Best part about this interview, though, is even while Chris unsuccessfully tried to trick Ben into talking, Ben's responses speak for themselves, period. Thanks so much. Thank you to Crimson Channing for the $6.99 Canadian. I saw this full interview, and it felt like he was trying to bait Ben into saying something to get himself into trouble with the lawsuits. That's what it felt like to me. Put a 4 in the chat if y'all think that kind of felt like that to you too a little bit. Like there was like a vibe of like Chris Cuomo's trying to trick him, bait him. Maybe not we're in tangent with anybody, but maybe just because he's a jealous fool or something. I mean, I don't know. Thank you so much to Roger for the $5 super chat. Can you play Welcome to American Fork by AFK Anthem? It's hilarious. I did already. We had a whole dance party. Thank you for the $5. Thank you to Flippantly for the $4.99. Last night, Baron Coleman ran through the Twigs family activities since CK. Houses under a trust. 2 new... Oh, a minute 10 seconds in. 2 new LLCs and a charity. Okay, ran through the twig. I don't know what that is. Who is that? CK? Oh, the Charlie Kirk situation. Okay, I'll have to check that out. I have not been keeping up with that story at all lately. Thanks so much to Dan for the £2 super chat. Getting instructions from Ammon. Y'all think so? Let me know if y'all think that. Let me know in the comments. Do y'all think that he's getting instructions from Ammon? I don't know. I'm just asking. Thanks so much, Ursa, for the $5. Have you seen the Maddie Appleseed interview of an franchise owner who had his store illegally seized by... No, I have not seen... The Maddie Appleseed video that I saw was about the U-Haul. It was about the U-Haul. Thanks so much to Salt in Exile for the $10 super chat. I have personal knowledge that the police in Salt Lake City use child adult protective services to get around warrants, Miranda rights, etc. I would not surprise it. It would not surprise me, and I would not be surprised by that. Thanks so much to... No, you cannot see my ID. For the $5 super chat. Listening to your live shows feels like hanging out with actual adults. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the $5. Thanks to Dan for the £2 again. Had the feeling his interest was solely in the TRO, I guess you mean. Thank you for the £2. Thank you to Bondwoman for the $5 super chat. So glad people still remember the 2016 WikiLeaks fiasco. It was very insulting to the average citizen. There you go. Thanks so much to Making Law Simple for the $9.99. He is very concerned about me critiquing his interviews of various individuals. Please don't. Check it out at Lego Law, Life, and Libation. Thank you for that $9.99. Yes, he did. I'm about to criticize it right now just because you don't want me to. I'm about to critique. He did an interview with Sheldon. It was him and Valhalla. Wait, Josh spoke out? Oh, no, that is outdated. Okay, hold on. Making Law Simple and Valhalla did interview, I think it was last night or the night before. It's all a blur now. I think it was the night before last. They interviewed Sheldon Norcross. And I'm going to be going on there next week, a week from today. I'll be on Making Law Simple. I'll be over there building a Lego set. Yes, I will. Hopefully I'll be able to complete it in the time. This one right here.
Criminal, right? We've seen this sort of stuff in LawTube, and
I want to actually, okay, what I will say, I don't want to, like, I'm not trying to start any drama or anything, but what I will say is this guy down here, I never heard of him in my life. Okay, I don't know who he is. But he was asking some very tense questions. He was like asking like very specific timeline questions. I'm like, wait, Sheldon, how would he even know those answers to that? Like, I was like, I hope they don't bring Ed Sheeran's cousin on there to depose me when I'm on there trying to build a Lego set. I want to find the part where they talk about Legally Mine, though. I found that to be enlightening. Okay, hold on. Where's the dang transcript? So like the 10-minute 43-second mark, they're like, before you got involved, did you know about the Legally Mine stuff?
All they've ever done.
let me ask you this: before you got involved, were you aware of the connection to
Legally Mine?
some of, Legally Mine and some of those other companies? Were you at all aware of that stuff?
No, when we went into interview, they told us, this is like part of what I guess part 3 will be about. They told us they were sending out a guy, and then Amon came out. We had no idea that was the CEO. And Ben goes, and this obviously didn't.
So I think Sheldon like didn't like understand the like Legally Mine like LLC thing. So then he asked again at the 31-minute 49-second mark. So let's pick back up there.
What are these people doing? None of this makes sense. This is not how a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company responds to a situation. None of this made sense. And then all of the background came out about these guys, about Legally Mine, their dad's company, kind of, and their whole idea about, we take steps to shield, yourself from all these liabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And the shenanigans going on with that case. And now all of a sudden it just kind of makes sense. Even the way Joshua Johnson, not the comedian, was acting, all makes sense when you tie it into this sort of like,
Johnson.
I don't want to call it a scam, but it's not really a
So Sheldon Norcross was there. He's like in the videos. He's in the Reckless Ben series, and he's like waiting any moment for them to show up and serve him with a TRO.
It's a
No,
scheme.
they're scammers. That's why. It's because they thought, once again, we were some dumb TikTokers, and it's like, no, this is a Reckless Ben investigation. Like, you guys are just completely screwed unless you just do the right thing. But I don't think there is a right thing for them to do. I guess what I mean by that is like they're just like, we can just threaten litigation. It's what they did at the beginning of this. They just threaten everybody, and they're used to everyone backing off.
I'll start this and pull that up in a minute.
But yeah, I agree. That is not how a normal CEO would have handled that. A normal CEO wouldn't have came out and talked the way he did and lied. You know what I mean? They definitely wouldn't have lied, and they would have said.
A normal CEO would have said, "What is the name? What is the store?
Right.
I will look into this and get back to you."
Agree.
Right? I mean, that's what I would expect. First of all, I wouldn't expect a CEO to come out into the hallway and address you.
Okay, let's go to the next one. 105. Okay, let's go here. Let me see. What was it like? No, about.
So she's done a deep dive into this company's background quite a bit, into these people's background. And I guess, you guys didn't know about any of this stuff at the time, right?
No, we didn't. All we had done is the research between Brian. We had gotten his interview. We had gotten the police report where they said they didn't feel like giving it back. So that was more than enough for us. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm not surprised at all after learning about it. I think this is just,
that was a huge surprise.
They're just really skeezy.
That was a huge surprise to me, because Ben has been looking into this company already. He's very, very good at like legal loopholes and figuring out how to, do things in creative and different ways under the law and things like that. So I was very surprised to find out that he didn't know about the legally mine aspect of it all. But at the same time, like, maybe just like he did still, maybe it is possible that he did know about it, but maybe he just wasn't like advertising it to everybody or whatever. I mean, the interrogation made no sense to me. Like, if you're going to be asking questions like that, you need to ask the people that were there who know. Like, so what day was it that the store was repossessed? I mean, why don't you ask the people who were there? This guy just like rolled up to like do a skit in a store and then got his phone taken and arrested, like unconstitutionally. Like, that's what he should be asking about, in my opinion. I mean, he can ask about whatever he wants, but it just freaked me out the way he was like, he was acting way more aggressive than Chris Cuomo.
You know, and it's just, it makes sense that, because to scheme something like this, you would have to have some kind of level of experience. Because it's kind of like, look at Reckless Ben. He's been doing YouTube 10 years. You know, everyone's saying the Lego video is the best video he ever did. It's
See, Making Law Simple, he said it. He said it too. I think he knew about it too. He said, I think Reckless Ben did know about it. There was a vague mention of it, but he probably just didn't tell everyone in the crew. Yeah, agreed. And he maybe knew some aspects, but he didn't exactly know like the full, like, and I don't know the full picture either. I have no idea the full picture, but he may have had some ideas, but he didn't exactly know how he wanted to present it, or maybe it just wasn't relevant to the stuff he was working on that day or around that time or whatever. But when did he vaguely reference it? The hiding behind LLCs thing? The hiding behind LLCs thing? Doze one, and thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Making Law Simple as well. Thank you. Thank you, Nerdy Dog Mom. I doubt the owners thought cops would SWAT over Legos. Except they were sitting in the truck. So maybe they did. Thank you so much for that $1.99. Thanks so much to Jamie for the $2 super chat. Thank you. And the thing is too, like, you can never know what the cops are going to do with information that you provide them, and you should act accordingly. Even if you don't think the cops are going to completely screw you over and lock you in a cage for the rest of your life after you talk to them, they might do that. And it would behoove somebody that's like a principal of a whole elementary school to know that anything you say can and will be held against you or anybody else. And they do have the full force of the law behind them. However, she was sitting in the unmarked car, or someone was, maybe it was the husband. The cop said the owner of the house was in his truck right now. So at least one of those owners was in his truck right now. So before you're sitting in an unmarked police car, scoping out and spying on your own house, on your own Airbnb, where people have a reasonable expectation of privacy, and giving police information that you overheard, which apparently is a violation of the Airbnb rules, according to somebody who says he does Airbnb rentals, like he rents out an Airbnb. I think it would be reasonable for them to assume that the cops were going to take it to the fullest extent. It's my opinion. Thanks so much to Jesse for the $4.99. Do we think that Josh could have been the informant of the stolen Legos at the Airbnb, and then the American Fork Police Department contacted owners before the warrant? Maybe, but the problem with that theory would be, Jesse, that, or like the hang up that I would have with that theory is that in the search warrant, which I can bring up now, in that search warrant, it says that the person who reported this, this so-called stolen Lego situation was someone who contacted or who informed the police that there was a bunch of YouTubers staying in their Airbnb. So it's not like, okay, we received a call that someone had stolen, had their Legos stolen, and so we went out to investigate where the stolen Legos were. No, it was like there was this guy. The warrant doesn't support that theory at all. Let me pull it up. It's right here. A third-party individual shared information about not how they have Legos missing, about how they have a bunch of YouTubers renting out their Airbnb. So the third party individual is not named, but it doesn't say a third party individual said there were stolen Legos. Who they claim, and then you're saying stolen Lego at the Airbnb. The person who claims it is the homeowner of the Airbnb. They handed over, they were cooperative. They handed over video footage that showed Ben going into the house, the basement that he had rented at like 3:50, about 4:00 p.m. The homeowner disclosed that he could hear. So Ryan Wells, he could hear multiple individuals inside the residence speaking about possible stolen Lego toys that they had taken. Who had taken? So it says the homeowner. It doesn't say the informant. It says the homeowner. Thanks so much to Making Law Simple for the $9.99. With regard to the British gentleman, his biggest concern is that critics would attack Ben's timeline. So the timeline is messy and he wanted to try to clear things up. I'm sure, I'm sure. I know you wouldn't just be having any old person just on there being an op, but it was just like, I don't know. It seemed, maybe it's like cultural difference, or maybe it was something like that. It just seems like I'm defensive too. I'm defensive of anyone involved in this case who's speaking publicly, because I know that the powers that be and I would think, the bad guys in this story, they're going to, and they are looking to, and they want to. And if they can, they will use anything said by any of these people against them as impeachment evidence, as evidence of anything. Like, they're going to try to use all the statements against them. And I feel like when it's something that's like really outside of Sheldon's, like, when you send somebody in for a deposition, you're supposed to send somebody who's like got that knowledge. You're supposed to send the person who is in the best position to answer the questions about that specific thing. I just felt like, it was just kind of like Sheldon doesn't know the timeline. He doesn't know the timeline. None of us know the timeline. The British gentleman, I think, that's why he was asking. He don't know the time. We don't know the timeline. But I just get nervous that people think they're going on a Lego stream to have fun and chill out, and then something they say on there could be used against them in a way. And I'm defensive about that because it's happened to me before. Obviously not on your stream. That's why. That's where I was coming from with it. But I mean, he seems like, he is a streamer. He seems like nice enough. I just didn't expect like that to be the vibe. And it wasn't the vibe from anybody else. And it was just a moment and it moved on. And I love that show. Y'all should all be over there subscribed. Y'all should be subscribed to Making Law Simple. Because they also did interviews, I think, was it 2 Making Law Simple and Valhalla? They also did interviews with Crystal Gorman and, Crystal Law and Ben Gorman, the former owners of the franchise. And they got all kinds of information that they shared over there as well. Oh, wait, did I turn on the, I don't think I turned on the volume. Hold on. Very fun show. It's like, They go on there and then they build Legos. They build Lego sets. It's very fun.
Better than the last one. So it's almost like, Amon has made every scheme better than the last one, and he's gotten really good at it. You know what I mean? He's a professional schemer. So this is
Seems
just
like
his
to
MO
me.
now. Maybe he even got complacent, but look at it. They got away with it. They would have got away with it if it weren't for us.
If it weren't for those meddling kids. Thank you, ET Apollo, for the $5 super chat. It was an arrest warrant dressed as a search warrant, used for a fishing expedition for anything they could possibly throw at them. And guess what they found? Nothing. And now they look stupid, as they should. Thank you to GRB for the $5 super chat. I think cop neighbor chatted about case to Airbnb owner, and owner said they are renting out my basement. Come check out the video. I need to see where that information is. Somebody else told me that earlier, but I need to, if somebody could send me that document, that'd be great. Or point me in the direction of how I could get it. Thank you so much for that $5. Thank you to Birdman. Oh, Bird Means Brain for the $10 super chat. Airbnbs are illegal in American Fork. Section 1717 of their municipal code outlaws short-term rentals under 30 days. I think that has been repealed as of 2020. That's what I read. Thank you for the $10. Thank you to Nerdy Dog Mom for the $1.99. Don't think cops were truthful. Cops contacted them. Okay. All right. Well, we don't know, but yep. I wouldn't be surprised they lied. Thank you to Ursa for the $2. Ammon Yevrimovich. Ammon Takali Mora Yevrimovich. Oh, man. Okay. It's all there, but we don't know which video. Okay, well, I would need to know the video and hear it myself before I say it as a fact. I do think that was overturned, though, that municipal code outlawing Airbnbs. How much stolen Lego property was needed for a whole SWAT team? It's super ridiculous. That's exactly what I have said. I have said that. Even if it was stolen Legos, why in the hell do you need a SWAT team there with gun? Just come out. I mean, Jesus. All right. I think that's all I'm going to do today. I don't think I'm coming on here tomorrow. I might make a little video here or there, but I'll see y'all later. Thank you for coming by today. Oh, wait, here, the incident report. I had cleared the scene. Was at American Fork Police. While speaking with other officers assisting in this case, one officer informed me that his neighbor... All right, I'm gonna still have to find it. That's all I really have for this. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Neither are opinions. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Do not contact anyone mentioned in this video or send any hate. That's not the purpose of this video. Love you, Mina. Okay, bye.